Hi, welcome back guys. This is your sensei, back with another fanfiction. This is the second part of What If Naruto Got Harem with Hinata and Hanabi. Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. To say that the last couple of days had been complete chaos in Konoha was an understatement. The revelation that it was an elder of the council, Danzo, who was responsible for the Kyuubi attack, was something that no one expected. This coupled with the rumors that he had been killing shinobi of their own village in order to steal their Kekkei Genkai and clan techniques destroyed his reputation within the village. In the beginning, many did not want to believe it, but with all the clan heads confirming the rumors, their doubts disappeared. And soon enough a new rumor was running throughout the village that Danzo caused the Kyuubi attack in order to kill the third and fourth Hokage in order to take control of the village. Meanwhile back in the council room, things had not gotten any easier, as members of the ANBU teams had just finished their reports about what they found in Danzo's home and root bases. I cannot believe that I didn't realize any of this, said Sarutobi as he looked even older, but that was something to be expected. After all, he had just learned many of his old teammates' activities that caused unnecessary deaths and had nothing to do with the betterment of Konoha, but only his own personal gain. Sarutobi began to feel tired, very tired. Not only did one of his previous students become a monster that has destroyed many lives because he turned into a coward that is afraid of death, but also his teammate has been doing it for even longer and he hasn't realized until now. How many people would be alive if he had opened his eyes and seen who Danzo really was? How many innocent people did his student kill for the sake of his own ambitions even today? Maybe they were right, it was time for him to retire. Thankfully, he had a worthy successor in Itachi. Even if he was not chosen in the conventional way, he was by far the best successor for whom he could hope. Soon he would make the announcement that he will retire in a couple of years and that Itachi will be the fifth Hokage. That move has allowed him to reduce the tension that was rising in the council, but that also made him realize that before his time as a Hokage came to an end he needed to make up for the mistakes that he had made in the past. What is the status of the other villages? Have they shown any movement? Asked Sarutobi. So far nothing, but we can no longer lower our guard. They will see what has just happened as an indicator that Konoha has bad leadership, and they will try to take advantage, said Shikaku. The real problem is that we need to change all of security plans and protocols that Danzo knew. They are now a security risk, said Fugaku. We need to keep our veteran shinobi close to the village so they can protect it in the case of an attack, added Hayashi. You are forgetting that Danzo may still have some spies inside the village. We need to find them before we even consider creating new security plans, added Inoichi. That could take weeks, said a Jonin. Then we had better get started, said Sarutobi. That leads us to another point. He knows all our secrets, and he can use them against us. He even knows that the Mokyudan has returned. If our enemies learn about this, they may come after Naruto to kidnap or even kill him, said Itachi, who had remained silent as he observed the meeting. For now, we can protect him inside the village, but what will happen when he becomes a genin? Asked Choza. For the moment Yamato is looking after him. That reminds me, Yamato, what is the progress of Naruto? Said Sarutobi as he looked at Yamato. To be honest, the only word that comes to my mind is genius, said Yamato. Could you be more specific? Asked Shikaku. I wish that I could, because I cannot understand how he is advancing so quickly, said Yamato. Maybe if you give us an example, said Inoichi. It has been 2 weeks since the Danzo incident, and since I began my mission to protect him and teach him. On my first day in the mission I chose to see how strong he was in order to determine his level and see what he needed to work on in order to improve. But that kid is amazing. His learning speed is amazing. He learns every move and jutsu that I show him so quickly that is as if he already knew them, said Yamato. Are you sure that your wife hasn't been teaching him anything? Hayashi asked Sarutobi. I asked her the same question, and she told me that she hadn't. Besides, with her still recovering, I do not believe that she could even if she wanted to, answered Hayashi. When I asked her about how he can be advancing so fast, she said that I only need to remember who his father is and I will understand, and to be honest, that is an explanation that I can accept. That information is a secret, said Sarutobi. A secret that, like many others, is now in the hands of Danzo. If he gives that information to Iwa in exchange for help, even if you had the best of intentions, all of this secrecy will have been for nothing, said Shikaku. Even if Sarutobi did not want to admit it, Shikaku had a very good point. You will need to tell him about his father with the current events. That is inevitable. Besides, Akane-sama is right. It is only a matter of time before he finds out the truth on his own. After all, he has already proven that he is as smart as his father was, said Shikaku. I know, but my original idea was to tell him when he became Chunin or Jonin depending on his level. There have been so many changes in his life that I do not want to reveal another one so soon. I am really getting too old for this, said Sarutobi. But in that moment an ANBU arrived with haste. There is an emergency. The apartment compound where Naruto lives is on fire, said the ANBU. Where is Naruto? Asked a worried Sarutobi. He is in the Hyuga compound with the Hyuga heiresses and Akane-sama, answered the ANBU. That piece of news calmed his heart that for a moment feared the worst. What happened? Asked Itachi. It seems that a group of drunken civilians decided to burn the place, saying that Naruto-sama was a tool used by Danzo to kill the fourth Hokage. They were arrested and are now on their way to Hibiki. Ever since some of the ANBU learned that Naruto is a direct descendant of the first Hokage, their attitude changed. For now, they are among the only ones who are allowed to know that information, especially because Sarutobi told him that he should keep the Mokyuten a secret. Things never get easier, do they? Asked Itachi. No, they never do, was Sarutobi's answer. Time skip. Naruto was standing right before his building as the flames burned it to the ground, and some shinobi were using water jutsu to stop the fire before the entire block could turn into a conflagration. But for him their efforts were pointless. The fire destroyed his apartment. Moreover, the worst part is that he did not know how to feel about this. That place was never anywhere special for him, but it was the only place that he could call his own. While Naruto was looking at the fire, many of the villagers would have loved to make fun of him or even attack him and throw him into the fire, but they chose to do nothing. Not because they had a change of heart, but because Akane Hyuga and some of her guards were standing next to him while Hinata and Hanabi were right next to him, holding his hands. This was the only thing that they two sisters could think of to offer some form of comfort to Naruto, because words do not seem right in this moment. I guess that it is time to leave, said Naruto as he began to walk away and towards the forest. Wait, where are you going? Asked a worried Akane. I have another place that I can live, said Naruto. You can stay with us, there will be no trouble, right Mom? Said Hinata. Yes, there will be no trouble, said Akane. I appreciate your offer, I really do, but I do not want to attract trouble to your home, and even if I know that no one will dare to attack you, my presence will still attract negative attention, said Naruto. You do not need to worry about us, said Hanabi. But you were the first ones to treat me as a human being. Besides, I was planning to show you a little secret, said Naruto as he began to walk. Akane, Hinata and Hanabi began to follow him with the small group of Hyuga guards following them a few steps behind. It took them a while to arrive at the forest. None of them knew where he was taking them, but then Hinata recognized this road. Naruto-kun, this road is taking us to, said Hinata. Yes, I am taking you to our secret place, said Naruto. Secret place? Asked Hanabi. I found an old abandoned house in the forest some time ago and we have been using it since then, continued Naruto. You mean that old temple? That place is in ruins, said Hanabi. That is where the surprise part comes in, said Naruto as they arrived at their destination, to see the magnificent Uzumaki masked temple still in ruins. The roof was full of holes, the floor as well, and the walls were in terrible shape. And the surprise? Asked Hanabi. Naruto just smiled as he stepped forward when he was right in front of the temple. Then he began to make some hand signs as he knelt and put his hand over the floor. For a moment nothing happened, but then the wood began to react to his chakra and began to glow. Before all those present, they saw how the Naruto's Mokyuten is fixing the old Uzumaki masked temple. The missing parts were replaced, and the damaged ones looked new once again. After a few moments the Uzumaki masked temple was completely fixed. Naruto-kun, you did it, said a happy Hinata as she hugged him, happy to see how Naruto-kun has finally managed to achieve his goal. Hanabi for her part turned from the temple to Naruto and to the temple again. What she had just witnessed was simply impossible. Akane for her part was curious about Hinata's reaction. You knew about this, Hinata? She asked. I told her how the plants reacted to my chakra, and she was the one that loaned me that book about the first Hokage. It is thanks to her that I finally managed to use Mokyuten, answered Naruto in her place. But how is it possible that you can use Mokyuten? It was supposed to be unique to the first Hokage, asked a surprised Hanabi. It looks like I am his descendant, Naruto answered. But how is that possible? Asked Hinata. This was the first time that she heard this. I wish that I knew. The old Hokage just told me that my father is related to him, but he never told me who he was, said Naruto. This was supposed to be a secret, said Akane. I am tired of secrets that other people said were for my own good, but in the end never helped me, said Naruto with a serious face. For Akane it was obvious that he is still mad about the decision to keep his father's name a secret. I am not the fool that the village believes me to be, and I know that I need to keep this a secret, but who I tell and when, that is my choice. Besides, I trust Hinata and Hanabi, Naruto said with conviction. For Hinata and Hanabi, hearing how Naruto trusted them to this level was something incredibly special for them. Do you want to see the inside? Asked Naruto as he led them inside the temple. With Hinata and Hanabi following him, Akane followed them, but turned to see her guards, and with a dark look told them not a single word about this. The guards knew that she was deathly serious, and only nodded their heads. Happy with the answer, Akane followed the kids. Inside the temple, the Hyuga women were surprised to see that the place looked like new, like the temple was just built. You will need some furniture, Hanabi observed. That is no problem, said Naruto as he made the same hand signs and using his Mokyuten power to make a wooden chair grow from the wooden floor. This is amazing. Where did you learn to do this? Asked Hinata. There is a man named Yamato, who for some reason can use Mokyuten as well, and he has been teaching me many things, said Naruto. But the truth is that ever since he awoke the Mokyuten, every time Yamato showed Naruto a new Mokyuten jutsu, that refreshed his memory, and after a few tries he managed to master them, creating the impression that he was a genius. Is he also related to the Senju clan? Asked Hinata. No, he told me that he received his power from another source, but he didn't say how. I guess that there is a tragic story that he doesn't want to tell, answered Naruto. For her part, Akane knew the true story behind Yamato and understood his situation, but it was in that moment that she saw something that almost made her soul run away from her body. Naruto, what are those things doing here? Said Akane, pointing to the masks that were on the wall. Those masks, they have been here since I discovered this place. Why? They had been here all this time. What the hell was that old man thinking? Thought Akane. Naruto, those masks are probably the most dangerous and destructive objects in the entire village. The fact that they have remained here is mind-blowing. They should be in the ANBU headquarters under armed guards, said Akane as serious as she can. But they are only masks, Mom, asked Hanabi. It is not the masks, but the seals that are inside these masks that are dangerous. Each one of those masks has a seal that can do different things. Each one of them is as dangerous as the worst criminal that you can imagine, even worse sometimes, said Akane with conviction. Seals like the ones used against the Branch family, said a sad Hinata. Seals can do a lot of things, honey, and how they are used depends on the person that made the seals, said Akane, understanding Hinata's feelings. Naruto for his part also knew what is bothering Hinata. After all, she has told him what her dreams was, and he is determined to help her achieve her dream. Naruto, I know this place is your new home, but I need to keep these things in a safer place. By the way, I see that one is missing. Where is it? I accidentally broke it when I first found this place years ago because I didn't want it to happen again. I chose not to touch them again, said Naruto, not wanting to say how he fell on his face while wearing that mask. That would be very embarrassing, especially if these masks are as dangerous as Akane-sama said. Years ago when nothing happened. Well, if that is the case, I must say that it's for the best that it was destroyed instead of being missing out there. Now wait here while I ask one of the guards to go to the ANBU headquarters and ask a team to come to pick up the masks, said Akane. Why don't you just ask the ANBU that are outside, asked Naruto. This surprised Akane, not because of the ANBU presence. In fact, she managed to detect them. After all, with Naruto's heritage, or at least part of it, been revealed, she was sure that an ANBU team would be assigned to protect him. What surprised her was that he was able to detect them. Did you detect them, asked Akane. Yes, there are 3 of them hiding in the top of those trees, said Naruto as he pointed over the window. Akane for her part activated her Byakugan to confirm the number and location. Indeed, 3 are there. How was the logical question of Akane? I don't know, I just felt that people were there, said Naruto. I see, please wait here a moment, said Akane as she exited the temple, and looking at the trees she said, Tora, Snake and Crane, get your asses over here, said Akane in her ANBU captain voice. Not a second later 3 figures jumped from the trees. Her guards came next to her to protect her just in case, but she raised her hand to indicate that there was no danger. As expected of Akane-sama, she was able to detect us, said Crane. Captain, it is good to see that you have recovered your previous level of skill, said Snake. Captain, we are happy to see you well, but we are on a mission. We must look after the new Senju heir from a distance and with discretion, said Tora. Senju heir, wait, I do not have time for that. First of all, that mission will be a little more difficult because he is a sensor type who was able to detect you and tell me your location and numbers, said Akane. Really, asked Tora. Yes, but that is not important at this moment. What is important is that there are some items here that are extremely dangerous, and I need a retrieval team to remove them from this place. What kind of items, asked Snake. That is not important. What it is important is that one of you must go to the headquarters and request a team to pick up these things. Also, you need to go to the Hokage and tell him this message. With a dark and serious look, Akane continued. The message is this: why in the name of Kami did you not secure the ritual masks and seals of the Uzumaki mask temple? Some of them can summon things far more dangerous than the Kyuubi, and you left them unguarded. What were you thinking? That is all. Now carry out my order. For a moment, the ANBU believed that she was joking, but a quick look at her face told them that she was quite serious. Knowing what kind of person she became when she was angry, Tora said that she would go while the other 2 returned to their positions. With that done, Akane returned to where the kids were, and because she knew that they still had some time, she decided to give Naruto some suggestions about what kind of furniture he could use in his new home. A part of her was sad that he didn't want to come to the Hyuga compound, but she understood that besides her, Hanabi, and Hinata, Naruto had trust issues with her clan, and she couldn't blame him for that. Besides, if Naruto could make some furniture with his Mokyudan, there were many styles that she had always wanted to try. For the next few hours, Naruto got a lot of practice using his Mokyudan. In the end, Akane told him that if he ever needed money, he could sell the pieces that he had just created. Time skip. A couple of days later, the entire village gathered in front of the Hokage Tower. It seemed that the Hokage would be delivering a very important announcement, and the villagers can only guess what that announcement could be. Nonetheless, there was a lot of speculation, but the main one is that he would finally address the rumors saying that Danzo was a traitor responsible for the Kyuubi attack. Soon all the villagers that were talking with each other fell silent when they saw the 3rd Hokage standing at the top of the main tower with the clan heads. Everyone got silent and paid attention as they saw that he was ready to talk. My fellow citizens, I am afraid that I have come here to confirm a sad and terrible truth that by now many of you must have heard something about. One of the council members of this village committed treason and homicide against his fellow Konoha shinobi. That traitor is none other than Danzo Shimura. Many whispers could be heard among the crowd. We have found evidence that he took part in the Kyuubi attack on this village, and then put the blame on the Uchiha clan, all this with a terrible goal in mind. He wanted to weaken the Uchiha clan so he could kill some of its members in order to use their bodies in some dark experiments to increase his own power. We even confirmed that he had the Sharingan of Shisui Uchiha implanted in his right eye. Many people began to look at the members of the Uchiha clan that were in the crowd. It seemed that they wanted to say something, but they could not find the right words. But his crimes didn't end there, as he even committed crimes against the dead. I am truly sad to report that Danzo took samples of our found, the first Hokage Hashirama Senju, and used them to try to combine his powers with the power of the Sharingan that he stole. We believe that his final goal was to have full control over the Kyuubi, something that, as you can imagine, failed. By now, the entire village was silent as the grave. For his crimes against this village and its citizens, I now declare that Danzo Shimura is now an S-ranked traitor to Kano. With a bounty of 25 million ryo on his head, any person that helped him or his followers will also be considered a traitor and share the same punishment. The punishment for treason is death. Sarutobi then changed the look in his eyes to a gentler one. I should have seen sooner the kind of monster that Danzo had become. It is for that reason that I have made the decision to retire in a couple of years after the successor that I have chosen is ready to take the role as the 5th Hokage. Now the people began to look anxious. Even if he is young, he has proven to possess great talent and devotion to this village. Even after what Danzo did to him and his clan, he still put Konoha before anything else, and that alone made him the best candidate for a Hokage for which I could wish. For this reason, I will spend the next couple of years teaching what I can about the position of Hokage, so that when the moment arrives, he can lead us to the best of his abilities. For that, I want to present you the man that one day will be the 5th Hokage, Itachi Uchiha. In that moment, Itachi stepped forward from where the clan heads were. For a moment, nothing happened, but then a huge ovation could be heard. That moment made history, as the village knew the face of the man that would lead them toward the future and mark the beginning of the reconciliation process with the Uchiha clan. Soon the people began to surround the member of the Uchiha clan that were watching the Hokage's proclamation in the main square and began to congratulate them. It was a great day that promised a big celebration that night, and many, even the more serious members of the Uchiha clan, seemed to enjoy the moment. All but one, ironically the one that should be happiest about this, Itachi's little brother, Sasuke. Sasuke looked at the announcement with a serious face as the events that happened days ago began to play in his memory. Flashback. The leaders of the Uchiha clan had been called to attend to an emergency meeting. Normally Sasuke would not be called to a council meeting, but for some reason he could participate. It was in that moment that his parents and his Onasan entered the meeting room, his father being the first one to talk. In the last 2 days, so many things have happened that will affect the future of our clan and that have required immediate action, said Fugaku. Is it related with the state of emergency and the order to capture Danzo and any other member of Root? Asked a random Jonin. Yes, in fact that is the cause of this meeting. What you are about to hear shall remain in secret until the next Hokage gives the authorization to speak about this. Next Hokage asked another clan member. You are about to learn the truth in a moment. Mikoto, you have known more about these recent events. Could you explain the situation to the clan? Mikoto for her part stepped forward and looked at her clansmen gathered. What I am about to tell you will cause a lot of emotions to emerge, but please contain your emotions until I am finished with the retelling of the events. So, Mikoto began to explain what had just happened, beginning with the attempted kidnapping of Naruto, how he used the Mokyudan to capture the 3 enemy Jonin, and his relationship with the first Hokage. Are you saying that he is a Senju? Asked an elder man. That is the case. Even if he wasn't officially recognized as one, the moment that the village learned that the Mokyudan has returned, they will not care that the boy's grandmother was the Senju clan head's lover. Then she continued explaining the events of the meeting. When the time came to explain about the Kyuubi attack, she saw her son Sasuke and said the word tenant. She knew that all the other members of the clan will know who she means, and told them about the description of the man that caused the Kyuubi attack. Meanwhile, Sasuke began to consider that maybe this tenant is the person that has been helping that loser to get so strong. By this moment, everyone was paying attention as if their lives depended on it. After all, the entire clan had suffered since that night, as many pointed their fingers towards them, saying that only an Uchiha could cause the attack on the village. That is when the bomb fell. The moment when Mikoto explained what happened when they asked Naruto to demonstrate his Mokyudan powers, and what happened to Danzo's arm, and the worst part, the Sharingan implanted in his body. My Shisui, said a woman in tears. Her name was Kaori, and she was the mother of Shisui, and with him being the main suspect of the attack, she was the one that had suffered more among the clan. To receive news that her son's name had been cleared was a small relief, but it was also a bittersweet one, because this confirmed that her son, her beloved Shisui, was dead. Many of the women that were in the meeting came close to Kaori and offered her their condolences, but a moment later, the rage was evident on their faces. They wanted revenge, and they wanted it immediately. Wait a minute, there is more for you to know, said Mikoto. As you can imagine, when the truth came out, the confidence in the Hokage's ability to rule the village received a big impact, and many were calling to replace him. However, in that moment, young Naruto came to a simple solution. Name an Uchiha as his successor and train him for a couple of years so he can later take his place in a peaceful way. And believe it or not, that idea had a lot of support from the other clans. Are you saying that Fugaku-sama will be the next Hokage? Asked a clan member. No, it will not be me. The future 5th Hokage of Konoha will be my son, Itachi, said Fugaku. That news was a big surprise, but this time it was welcome, as many considered Itachi the best hope for the future of their clan, and with this news, they had just confirmed it. Wait, said Sasuke for the first time. Are you saying that Naruto came to the idea to name Onasan as the new Hokage, and the clan heads agreed with him? How? Little brother, said Itachi. Because of some special circumstances, Naruto was forced to pretend to be an immature boy, but the truth is that he is highly intelligent. In fact, I believe that he is even more intelligent than I was at his age. Also, the way that he explained his reasoning to choose me as the new Hokage was very eloquent, especially because I didn't want the position. Many of those present were surprised by this revelation, but with the information about how he was a Senju, they just began to believe that it was something natural. If Itachi becomes the next Hokage, then who will be the next clan head? Asked one of those present. That will be my second son, Sasuke. When he comes of age, he will be tested in the same way that I was, and if he is approved, he will become the new clan head, said Fugaku. This caused some reactions. No one said anything, but Sasuke could see it in their faces. He knew that they had always considered him inferior to his brother, and now that Itachi will become the new Hokage, that idea was reinforced in them. However, he would show them in time that he would become the strongest Uchiha to ever exist. In addition, he did not know why, but the fact that it was that loser's suggestion that his brother become the next Hokage really pissed him off. He would also see, in time, all will see that he will become a legend that will surpass his brother. Back to the present. Congratulations, Sasuke-kun said in an annoying voice that he knew. It was Sakura, with Ino right behind her. Now you are the Hokage's brother, said a happy Ino. These words were the last thing that he wanted to hear. Moreover, the only thing these fangirls did was make him more angry at this situation. He didn't have time for these losers, so he just turned his back on them and walked away. Sasuke-kun Sakura called him and tried to follow him along with Ino, but the number of people in the area made it impossible and she lost him. You just scared him away, forehead, said Ino. Me, you're the one that is always in the way. If you weren't here, Sasuke-kun would be asking me for a date by now. In yours dreams, was Ino's reply. Back with Sasuke, he had just arrived at a training ground. At that moment he only wanted to be alone. He needed to think of a way to become strong without the help of his clan. That was the only way to prove that everyone who had always looked down on him were wrong. Especially that loser. It didn't matter that he was a Senju, a loser would always be a loser. Looks like someone is angry, said a voice behind him. When Sasuke turned, he saw that same Anbu from the last time, the one that told him how his brother was helping Naruto. What do you want? Asked Sasuke, angry at being interrupted. Nothing, I was just on my way to see the announcement before I had to return to my post, Tobai lied. It's over there, now get lost, said Sasuke as he pointed to the center of the village. It seems that someone is angry. Could it be that now not only your clan, but the entire village sees you as the useless brother of the new Hokage? Sasuke's reaction was instant as he launched some kunai at Tobai, only to see them pass through him. A genjutsu do not make me waste my time with. Whatever Sasuke was about to say ended when the genjutsu punched him in the stomach. If I was a genjutsu, the pain that you are feeling now should make me disappear, right? But since I am here, that means I must be real, Tobai said. Who are you? How did you do that? Asked Sasuke in pain. Just an ordinary super elite and amazing regular shinobi, Tobai casually replied. What do you want from me? Sasuke asked. From you nothing, you are just too weak right now, but you remind me of how I used to be when I was your age, so I will tell you something. Come here the last 3 days of each month and I will teach you a little that will help you become stronger than your brother and especially stronger than that Naruto boy, Tobai offered. I do not need your help, replied Sasuke. And who is going to help you? Your clan. They are too busy praising Itachi now, and when the village learns that Naruto boy is a Senju, they will also begin to praise him, Tobai countered. After hearing that, Sasuke remained silent. My time is too valuable to waste in this way. If you do not show at the end of this month, I will assume that you are happy with how things are now, and that you want to live in the shadows of your brother and Naruto for the rest of your life. But remember, this training time will be our secret, Tobai said. With that, Tobai turned around and began to walk away. Wait, said Sasuke. In case that I decide to accept your offer, how I am supposed to call you? Asked Sasuke. Call me Tobai, and with that said he disappears. Time skip. It had been 3 months since Sasuke accepted Tobai's offer, and while he had doubts about him, he surely kept his word. And even if they only trained together a few days each month, Sasuke felt that he had made more progress than what he did when he trained with his father, who had spent less time training him, saying that he had clan business to attend. However, this progress had also come with an additional trait, arrogance. Ever since he first began to train with Tobai, he found that talking with him was something very interesting. They shared some points of view about what must be done and the role of the elite in this world. He increased his challenging of Naruto to show the village that he was superior, but those fights and competitions never ended with a victory on his side. That was bad enough for him. But when he remembered Hinata's words from that day about how Naruto wasn't using his full power, that made him furious. Another way that Sasuke chose to compete against Naruto was with his followers. Sasuke began to gather a group, with Uchiha kids mainly, to show Naruto that he also had followers. But the fact that those kids couldn't win a match against the girls that followed Naruto was something that only made him angrier. That is when Tobai suggested him, why not make one of the girls from Naruto's group abandon him to join yours? That was something that attracted Sasuke's attention, and he was willing to try, even if it was said that one of his group chose him over Naruto. But that idea also came with a trouble. That from Naruto's group of friends, Hinata, the strongest, wanted nothing to do with him. Her sister was the same, and Yakumo showed zero interest in him. That left him with only 2 choices, and they were ones that he really disliked. Sakura and Ino were useless fangirls who only knew how to bother him. And even if their skills had shown some improvement lately, their personalities and that stupid idea of romance that they had really made him mad. But if he wants to take something away from Naruto, those two are the easiest targets. That is what brings us to this very moment. Sakura and Ino were walking together to their homes because today was one of the days that they did not have to train with Naruto and the others. "Hello there," said a voice that the two of them knew very well. Sasuke asked the two at the same time as they turned around. Surprised that Sasuke wanted to talk with them. "I just want to say that I am impressed with the progress that you have made. You are obviously stronger than what I believe. So I was wondering if you would want to train with me and my friends tomorrow since it is said," asked Sasuke with a friendly smile that looked fake on his face. However, for Ino and Sakura it looked like he was their charming prince. "You really are asking us to train with you?" asked a surprised Ino. "Yes, if that is okay with you," Sasuke replied. "Yes," said both Ino and Sakura at the same time. "Excellent, then I will meet you tomorrow," said Sasuke as he turned to leave. Once he was out of their view, the friendly look that he had turned darker. "Why did you invite those losers to be with us?" asked an Uchiha boy who was waiting for him with another group. "I do not care about them, I just want to take away something from that loser," was Sasuke's answer as he kept walking. "I know, but why does it have to be those pathetic excuses for Shinobi?" asked the same boy. "I have to start somewhere," was Sasuke's plain reply. "I see, well I need to do an errand that my mom asked me to do," said the boy as he went to the main street while Sasuke and the others returned to the Uchiha compound. A few moments later, Ino had just entered her room. She was so excited that Sasuke had finally shown some interest in her. The only bad thing was that he had also asked Sakura to be with him. Well, she only needed to show him that she was the best. When she first suggested that training with Naruto would attract Sasuke's attention, she was joking. In fact, it was a prank on Sakura, but a lot of things happened, and now the training with Naruto and the others truly was helping her. Wait a minute, Naruto. Tomorrow she had training with Naruto, Hinata, Hanabi, and Yakumo at the same time. Oh well, it will only be for this one time. Besides, this could be the perfect chance to make Sasuke-kun, who is the best boy in the village, fall in love with her. But now that she is thinking, for some reason her entire clan had been acting very strange now. At first, when she told them that Naruto was the boy that she was expending her time training with after classes, many of her clan members didn't like that and asked her to stop at once, saying that being close to that boy will damage the clan's reputation. But her father spoke against that and said that she must continue with her training with Naruto because now she is really training as she should. However, in the last few days, the same people who said that she must stay away from Naruto are now asking her to become closer to him. She wondered what could have happened to change their opinions. Well, that is not her business. If things go well tomorrow, her time with Naruto and the others will come to an end. She may be a little sad because she had just begun to get along better with Hinata, Hanabi, and Yakumo. The fact that none of them are interested in Sasuke really helped to make her like them. Now all that she needed was a little advantage over Sakura, something that she could use to make Sasuke choose her over Sakura. It was in that moment that, looking outside her window, she saw one of the others Uchiha boys that attend to the academy with them. Ino knew him because he was always with Sasuke-kun. "That's it," said Ino to herself as she began to make the hand signs for her clan jutsu, Shintenshin no Jutsu. As Ino fell to the floor of her room, the Uchiha boy stood for a second as he lowered his face. A second later, when he raised his face again, he was wearing a very big smile that looked strange on his face. Now to find out what kind of woman attracts Sasuke-kun more, thought Ino. Using the body of the Uchiha boy, Ino entered the Uchiha compound and was looking for Sasuke. Thankfully, she didn't have to look far as she saw him heading toward the training grounds. "Sasuke," she stopped when she was about to use her pet name for him. "What do you want?" asked a bothered Sasuke. "I was wondering what girl you like more, Ino or Sakura, and what characteristics they need to have to be your perfect girlfriend," asked Ino in the boy's body. Sasuke turned to see him with a very pissed off face. "What the hell are you talking about?" said Sasuke as he grabbed the boy, Ino, from the shirt. "I don't know what is wrong with you or if this is some kind of joke for you, but I just told you that those two pathetic excuses for Shinobi mean nothing to me. Well, you just talked to them. You invited them to train with you, only so I can take something away from that loser Naruto," said Sasuke as he released the boy, Ino. "If you care so much about them, you can keep them. All that I want is to be able to say I managed to take one of Naruto's friends away to my side," said Sasuke as he kept walking. "Hey, how did I get here?" asked the Uchiha boy as he recovered the control over his body. While this was happening, Ino opened her eyes in her room. She had tears in them. "I am such a fool," said Ino in low voice as she cried. She spent the rest of the night thinking about, well, everything. She was such a fool to place all her dreams in a boy that did not care about her. Had she gone tomorrow to train with him, it would have possibly been the worst mistake of her life. "I have to tell Sakura I can't allow her to make the worst mistake of her life," Ino said. The next morning, Ino hurried to Sakura's place, but when she arrived, Sakura's mother told her that she had already left. After hearing that, she began to run in the direction of the training ground where she saw Sakura walking a few meters in front of her. "Sakura, hey, what do you want, Anapig? Thank Kami that I found you in time." This time Ino had a serious face that attracted Sakura's attention. "Ino, what happened?" "Sakura, we need to leave this place. You are making the worst mistake of your life." "What are you talking about? Sasuke-kun is waiting for us." "That is the mistake." "What are you talking about?" In that moment, Ino began to tell her about what happened yesterday, what she did and how she heard what Sasuke really thought about them. That his goal was to say that he managed to take away some of Naruto's friends after that he did not care about them. Sakura listened in silence to all that Ino said. That is why we need to go, Sakura. This is not worthy, and we are going to be used and then ignored, said Ino. I see, said Sakura. Thank Kami, now we should leave, said Ino as she tried to grab Sakura's hand so they can leave that place. But Sakura rejected her hand. Sakura, Ino said, I see that you are afraid that Sasuke-kun will choose me over you because I am the best girl in the academy, and if you believe that you can fool me, you are very wrong because I know that Sasuke-kun would never do that. I am telling you the truth, said Ino with conviction. I don't believe you, and if you want to go with that fool Naruto and the others, you are welcome. They have served their purpose and I don't need them anymore, said Sakura. You will be used, said Ino as she tried to grab Sakura's hand again, but SLAPPP. Sakura slapped Ino. Ino for her part raised her hand to touch the check that Sakura just slapped. There was a time that we were friends, and we allowed a boy that is garbage to destroy our friendship. If you want to make the biggest mistake of your life, fine, I won't stop you, but I won't be there to see you face the consequences. With that said, Ino turned around and left her alone. Sakura for her part looked at how Ino walked away, but a moment later she continued her way. After all, Sasuke-kun would now be all hers. Back with Ino. She kept walking without a destination in mind. In fact, the only thing that she was thinking right now was to determine how she could be so wrong. She needed to think, and now all she wanted was to be alone. Hello, Ino, ready to train, asked Naruto from behind her. Turning around, she saw Naruto, Hinata, Hanabi, and Yakumo. Oh, she forgot about the training that she was supposed to have with them. Are you okay? You look a little stressed, asked Yakumo. Yeah, I just had a discussion with Sakura, said Ino. What happened? Asked Hinata. I don't think that she wants to train with us anymore, said Ino, not wanting to say more about the topic. I see, said Naruto. We can't force her to stay with us. She needs to find her own way, said Hinata as she looked at Ino with a serious face. What about you, Ino? What are you going to do? Somehow Hinata knew what had just happened. How? Ino did not know, but she knows that Hinata is asking her what she is going to do from now on. Ino looked at them and began to remember that even if the training was hard, she actually had real fun with them. But that fun was short-lived as she was always arguing with Sakura, so maybe it was time to have real fun with her real friends. This time she would have real fun. I will challenge you to a race to our training place, said Ino as she began to run. Hey, that is not fair, said Naruto. We are training to be ninja, we aren't supposed to be fair, was Ino's reply as she ran. Naruto looked at Ino, wondering what could have happened to make her act like this, but she looked happier this way. Too slow, said Hinata as she began to run, being followed by Hanabi and Yakumo. Naruto stopped there, seeing how all of them were running, for some reason that made him happy. Hey, wait for me, said Naruto as he began to run. Back with Sakura. She has just arrived to where Sasuke was, but part of her couldn't forget the words that Ino had just told her. Hello, Sakura. I am glad that you arrived. Where is Ino? Asked Sasuke. She changed her mind, but do not worry because I am the best one of the two of us and I promise you that I will always be here for you. I am sure that you will, said Sasuke with a dark look in his eyes that Sakura either missed or didn't want to see. Now let's see what you can do, and with that said he took his fighting stance. Sakura for her part did the same, believing that this would be the first of many occasions where they would spend their time together. Yes, now it's only a matter of time before he falls in love with me, Sakura thought. What Sakura never realized is that sometimes you must be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. Back with Naruto and the girls. Naruto did manage to win the race, being followed by Hinata, Ino, Hanabi, and Yakumo. That was a good way to warm up before the training, said Naruto as he looked at the girls. You really are going to tell them, aren't you? Asked Hanabi. When Naruto showed her that he could use the Mokuton, it was the biggest surprise of her life, and she even began to consider that that beautiful golden chakra might be related to that power now that she learned that he is in fact a direct descendant of the first Hokage. But that was not all, because he also told them what he had inside him. At first, the memories of how the adults, even her own guardian, treated Naruto began to make sense, but she didn't believe that Naruto was a demon. After all, he saved her mom, and her mom, the person she trusts most in the entire world, had told them that Naruto was not a demon. But that was something that her sister Hinata didn't need to be told as she hurried to hug him. That action alone showed her how much her sister cared for Naruto. However, there were more surprises, because he even told them that the Hokage had decreed that his father's name was a secret, and that he could only learn it when he turned 18 or became a Jonin. Not only could Naruto use the legendary Mokuton, but had the Kyuubi inside him, he could use healing jutsu. And not only was he related to the first Hokage, but his parents' names were still a secret. Naruto's life was remarkably interesting, more than the novels of love and adventure that she liked to read. After all, I am going to ask for their help in the future, so it is only fair that they know the truth so they can make their own choices, said Naruto. Hinata for her part stood next to Naruto and held his hand as a show of support, something that Hanabi did as well with his other hand. But before he could begin, a single ANBU jumped and landed in the middle of the ground, scaring the girls. Are you going to tell them about the events that recently happened? Asked the ANBU that had white hair. Only the parts that are related to me, the others I will keep secret. All that happened is supposed to be a secret, it is for your own good, was the reply. The last time that someone kept a secret from me saying that it was for my own good that didn't work so well, did it? I am tired of people keeping secrets about my life saying that it was for my own good when my life has been a living hell, said Naruto. The ANBU remained silent, a guilty feeling in his stomach. Someone else could see you, the ANBU tried again. Besides you and the other 2 ANBU that are over there is no one close enough to this place to see what is happening, countered Naruto. The ANBU confirmed the report that said that Naruto was a censor type, one that seemed to be extremely good. Besides, with a team of ANBU always following me, it is only a matter of time before they see that something is off, said Naruto. Seeing that there was no point, he returned to where his teammates were. Naruto asked Yakumo. She wanted to know what was happening, and from the look on Ino's faces she as well wanted an answer. Ino, Yakumo, said Naruto. I believe that it will be easier to show you than explain it. And with that, Naruto stepped forward, and after making a few hand signs, a large tree trunk, like the ones in the training grounds, grew from the ground. This surprised Ino and Yakumo. That is the Mokyudan, but how is that possible? asked a surprised Ino. About that, said Naruto as he began to tell them how he awoke the Mokyudan, how he was related to the first Hokage, and finally about the Kyuubi. To say that Ino and Yakumo were shocked was an understatement. All this new information changed many of the concepts and ideas that they already believed to be true. It doesn't matter, said Yakumo, attracting Ino's attention. You helped me when I needed it, and thanks to you my dreams are about to become a reality. Besides, we are friends, so why I should care for something like that? asked Yakumo with a smile. Ino for her part began to consider all that she had heard, how she was and the kind of person that she was, and the truth is that she didn't. If she wanted to change, the old Ino would have reacted in a bad way after hearing this, but now this was the first step. She would no longer be that old Ino. She will become strong, independent, and a great shinobi in her own right. I agree with Yakumo, but why did you tell us this? You could have kept the secret, Ino said. Because we are friends, was Naruto's answer. Besides, I need your help. Our help? Yakumo and Ino asked in unison. I have spent my whole life being called a demon, an orphan who was abandoned by his parents, and many other things that I do not want to repeat. Now I know that I have an aunt out there, but she did not know that she had a little brother, much less a nephew. I am finally been able to learn things about my past, my family, but the last piece that finally reveals all my past, my history, won't be revealed until I become a Jonin, and for that I need your help. Naruto spoke passionately. Our help? But you are the strongest student in the academy. You can become a Chunin in less than a year after you graduate, and a Jonin after that. How can we help you? asked Ino. Because if I want to become truly strong, it is not something that I can do alone, and I am worried that I may lose focus of who I am and what I want. I need someone who, if I begin to lose my way, will be there to help me find the right path again, said Naruto. The girls looked at Naruto. He seemed so mature no other boys they knew would even admit that they needed help, and even less would ask for it. How he became like this even after all that he must have gone through was something that they could admire and respect. But what can we do? asked Yakumo. At this, Naruto just answered, do you want to become stronger with me? None of them expected that answer. They began to look at each other as they began to think about what they had heard. They may have had their own reasons for being here, but they all agreed that their proposal is linked to this boy, and that whatever would happen from now on, it would be fun. In that moment they had their answer. That night, in the Hyuga compound, Hanabi was in her room, looking at the ceiling from her bed, trying to fall asleep but with the recent events still playing in her mind. She could barely believe it. The boy that her big sister loved turned out to be some kind of prince, who has a mystical power and a dark secret and was asking for their help to achieve his goals. This was like those novels that she loved so much. But more importantly, she was incredibly happy for her sister. Ever since she became closer to Naruto, Hanabi had seen how Hinata was becoming more confident and strong. It was as if she was the heroine of a novel. She really was happy for her, but at the same time a little jealous, not in a bad way. It was just that she had always dreamed to live a love story as romantic as this one, but after hearing Naruto's story she was sure that there was no other boy with such an amazing background and intensity. And even if her sister did not want to admit her feelings yet, she was sure that she and Naruto are meant to be together. There is also his chakra by Kami. She didn't know why that golden chakra attracted her so much. Could it be because of the Mokyudan or the Kyuubi? Maybe both. But that did not change the fact that he had the most beautiful chakra that she had ever seen, and she wanted to see more of it. This is useless, said Hanabi as she realized that she would not fall asleep anytime soon, so she got up and went to the Hyuga clan library. Normally there were only official books there, but there was also a small section that was reserved to recreational books. Therefore, she went to see if she could find a new book to read, hoping to get sleepy after reading a few pages. She was looking for something new to read as she read the titles of the books. But then she saw something. It was not on the bookshelf, but on the floor. It seemed that a board was loose. At first she didn't pay it too much attention, but then she saw that it wasn't just a corner of the board that was loose, but the whole table. It also seemed that someone had moved that board, and that was strange, because why move a damaged board in the floor and not fix it? It was then that she tried to fix that board in the floor when she saw that there was something under the board. It was a packet. Feeling more curious about this, she opened it and saw that they were some books. Books? Why would someone put books here? Let's see what those books are about. Ika Tactics, what a strange name, but wait a minute. The author of this book is Jiraiya of the Sun, and maybe this book is about his battle tactics and techniques, said Hanabi with great emotion. Maybe that is why they were hidden, because they are too important. And if that is the case, these books may be the key to help us to become stronger, but first I have to read them to see what kind of battle tactics are shown in them, said Hanabi as she took all the books to her room. Let's see, this appears to be the first one of the series, The Two Moon Princesses and the Ronin. What a strange title for a shinobi book, Hanabi said. With that said, Hanabi opened the door that would lead her to the wonderful of the Ika Paradise series, something that would help her in the future to achieve her own happiness and the happiness of others. It had been a full year since Naruto trusted the girls with his secrets, and ever since then they had become closer. Focusing on their training, they began to develop a new sense of confidence that was reflected in many aspects of their lives, each one in their own way, but at the same time there was no doubt that they had become stronger. The one who had changed the most in the last year was Hinata. Thanks to the presence of her mother, the support of her friends, but more than anything the guidance of Naruto, she had gained the confidence to show her true capabilities. In addition, with that confidence she had made a new choice to grow her hair long and change her clothes. How the once shy Hinata came to that decision is something simple. With their mother fully recovered, Hinata and Hanabi had begun to train with her. The fact that their mother was alive and well was a great source of happiness for them. Moreover, both sisters were proud of her because she was strong, kind, and beautiful. That is when Hinata had the idea that if she looked like her mother, maybe she could attract more attention from her blonde love interest. But she needed help with this because she knew that she would need more than just growing her hair. So one day she asked for help from the only person she knew she could ask. "Mom, could you help me choose a new hairstyle and clothes?" asked Hinata as she shyly poked her fingers together. When Akane heard her daughter's request, she turned her head so quickly that for a moment Hinata thought that she may have said something wrong, but that idea ended when she saw the big smile on her mother's face. "Hinata, my dear, I have waited for so long to hear that question from you," said Akane as she took Hinata's hand as they ran towards Konoha's shopping district. Of course, Akane knew why Hinata wanted a makeover, and of course that she wanted to help her. Besides, what mother doesn't enjoy choosing clothes for her child? Moreover, that makeover had a big impact on the boys of the academy. With her new attitude and looks, she began to attract the attention of many of the boys, but she was not interested in any of them. However, when Naruto told her that she looked nice, it was one of the best days of her life, and that gave her a boost in her self-confidence. Today she was heading towards Naruto's home. She and the others agreed to gather there to make plans for tomorrow's field trip that would be the last exercise before they had to take the graduation test. She was praying to Kami that she would be placed on the same team as Naruto, hoping to spend more time with him as they do missions together. She was around halfway into the forest when she heard a voice. "Look who we have here," said a boy. There were another two boys at his sides, and behind him there was a genin. Hinata knew who they were. They were the gang of bullies who had attacked her the day that she met Naruto. She had seen them in the academy, but they were in different groups. In all this time they never tried to do anything against her or her friends because Hinata knew that they were afraid of Naruto. It seemed that they chose to try their luck now that they saw her alone. "Aren't you too old for this? We are about to graduate, and you still act like kindergarten bullies," said Hinata as he got into her ready position. "Shut up, don't think that you are better than us just because of your clan," said the leader. "When have I ever said that I was better than anyone?" asked Hinata in a matter-of-fact tone. "It's that superior attitude of yours that bothers us, and today we are going to put an end to it." "You haven't answered my question, but I guess that is to be expected, because you are only looking for an excuse to act this way, and to be honest, that is pathetic." "Silence, little princess, this time you are alone, and my big brother who's a genin came to teach you a lesson." "You mean that you were afraid to be beaten again, so you brought help," said Hinata. "We will see how this ends, especially since your boyfriend isn't around," said the leader, hoping to make fun of her. When Hinata heard these words, she began to blush and poke her fingers together. "We really aren't like that, at least not yet," said Hinata in a low voice. "I mean, Naruto-kun is a great boy, funny, intelligent, and hardworking." And so she began to talk about the good points of Naruto, completely ignoring the current situation. But the group of bullies didn't, and after a few moments of listening to her they lost their patience. "Get her," said the leader. In that moment, the two other bullies jumped at her while the leader and his brother were looking from behind. "Take this," said one of them as he tried to strike her face only to see her disappear. "What the EHUU" was all that he could say after Hinata not only avoided his attack, but also punched him hard in the stomach. "Naruto is really kind, and over the years we have become even better friends, but he is also kind to others, so I am not sure," continued Hinata, who after delivering that devastating attack continued talking like nothing happened. "You," said the second bully as he tried to kick her from behind. But Hinata raised her foot, blocking his kick, and with a bicycle kind of frontal kick, landed her attack on his face. "The other day we had ramen together and that was so nice, but I know that if the other girls and my sister would have been available, they would have been happy to join us, and I am happy that he has more friends, but it was nice to have some time alone together." "Oh my, what I am saying, this is so embarrassing," Hinata continued in a dreamy tone, her face starting to redden. It was a big contrast seeing her act like a shy girl talking about the boy that she liked while the two bullies were down on the ground crying from the pain. That is what I was expecting from a Hyuga, said the older brother of the leader. Big brother asked the leader of the group, "Do you really believe that I care for your reasons? You are just a disgrace who bullies others. I only came here to test myself against a Hyuga, but if she was so weak as to lose against your pathetic friends, that would have meant this would have been a waste of my time. But this one looks strong," said the genin as he got ready. "What should I do? I am running late for my meeting with Naruto-kun," continued Hinata, ignoring the genin. "I see that you are not taking me seriously. Let's see if I can change that." After saying that, he jumped and began to attack her, but Hinata kept avoiding him as she talked about her love life. "I really hope that Naruto and I end up on the same team. That would be great, as we could go on missions together for days, sleeping under the stars, being together all the time. It would be like a dream come true." The genin for his part was getting mad at seeing that an academy student was looking down on his attacks. Then after losing his cool, he began to make some hand signs. "Let's see what you do about this." Before he could finish his signs, Hinata in the blink of an eye was right in front of him and grabbing his fingers as she squeezed them hard. "Agrrr, I was playing nice because they are idiots and you just said that you wanted a challenge, but this is too much. By the way, using hand signs in a taijutsu match is a bad idea because that leaves your defense wide open. Next time, try to put a little more distance between you and your enemy before you try to use any jutsu, and take this as a reminder." After Hinata said that she kneed him in the pit of the stomach, making him fall over onto his back right in front of his little brother, the leader of the bullies. When the bully saw what happened to his friends and brother, he did what all bullies do when the odds turn against them. He turned away and tried to escape, but when he turned around, Hinata was already in front of him. He was scared. This is not how it should have ended. He was sure that with his brother here she would not have a chance, but now she was looking at him while smiling in a way that was scarring him. "I hope that this is the last time that we meet under these circumstances. After all, we will be genin soon, and this is not the way that Konoha genin should act toward one another," said Hinata in a sweet voice that scared him even more, so that he could only nod. "By the way, I want to ask you one more thing," said Hinata. "Do you think that Naruto-kun and I look like a good couple?" The bully was confused but saw this as an opportunity to escape this without harm. "Yes, you look like you are meant to be together," said the boy, trying to disguise his fear. "Really, thank you, and I also have something for you," said Hinata as she kicked him in the family jewels. "This is my gift, a reminder that being a bully is a bad idea. Now if you'll excuse me, I am running late for my appointment with Naruto-kun." After she said that, she turned around and left, not caring about the boy who was now in pain and regretting the idea of trying to bully her. "That girl is fierce. Whoever the boy is that ends with her will be a lucky son of a," said the genin, who was still on the ground recovering. What they didn't know is that the whole thing was observed by a group of ANBU. Ever since the Hokage and Council learned that Naruto had the Mokyuten, they made sure that he would be protected, and this time he made sure that the ANBU did their jobs. This particular group was just relieved after their shift was over and were on their way to the village from the Uzumaki masked temple that now served as Naruto's home. "That was an interesting show," said one of them. "That girl is beginning to act more like Akane-sama as time goes on," said her partner. "Yes, don't remind me. I wonder what will happen in the future now that she has begun to act more like her mother." "Don't know, but I will make sure to stay on her good side." "Yeah, me too." A little later, Hinata arrived at Naruto's home. She was the first one to arrive because they all had things to do, but they all agreed to come here to begin their preparation not only for the final test that would be the following week, but also for their final field trip that would be tomorrow. On another road, Hanabi was also heading towards Naruto's home. Normally she would go with her sister, but today she had something very important to buy. When Hinata heard this, she offered to go with her, but Hanabi told her that wasn't necessary, that she could go to see Naruto first, something that she did. It is not that she doesn't want to spend time with her sister on any other day. She would be very happy to do just that, but not today. After all, today was a very special day for her. Today she was going to pick up the new volume of the Ika Ika series, and she'd already reserved her copy. How could an academy student reserve a copy of that book? Suffice it to say that her henge technique was very good for her age. It had been a year since she found those books, and since then, a wonderful world was opened before her eyes. More importantly, her innocent mind now believed that she may have a chance to be with Naruto and her sister forever. When she began to read the book that night, she was confused. After all, she was expecting a book about jutsu, techniques, battle tactics, or shinobi philosophy. Instead, she found a story, but not just any story, one that talked about how two sisters fell in love with the same man, and after many challenges and dangers, they decided that instead of forcing him to choose one and make the other unhappy, they would share him and live like a big happy family. That was only the first volume. The second one told the adventures they faced, how they overcame the difficulties from the people who did not approve of their choice. Also, how other girls ended up joining their family. For Hanabi, it was like seeing what was happening in her life in that moment. Maybe that was why she was so fond of these books. Of course, she also became a fan of those kinds of books, but her favorites are still the ones of Jiraiya, and that was the reason she was a little late today. Those books also gave her hope that maybe, somehow she will manage to convince her sister to share Naruto. Because even if they aren't in an official relationship, she had seen how her sister turned from her sweet and kind demeanor to someone frightening when some other girls tried to get close to him. They were probably girls trying to get close to him on the orders of their parents on the council, but they never got past her sister. That was something good for her goals, but now she needed to think of a plan to make it happen. After all, it wasn't like she could come out and ask One-sama, "Do you want to share your boyfriend with me?" That alone was an issue, but the real problem was that she couldn't talk with anyone about this. They would simply tell her that she needed to move on and find a good boy on her own, but that was impossible. Finding another boy like Naruto who had all the elements she could only find in a romance book, such as the tragic past, the hard-working personality, and being so handsome, that was never going to happen. That is why she needed to persevere. She would be like the younger sister from the Two Moon Sister story from Jiraiya-sama's book. She only needed to find a way to make that story happen in reality. For now, all that she wanted was to spend the day with her sister and Naruto. Speeding the last part of the way, she could see them already talking in front of Naruto's home. With a big smile, she greeted them. "Naruto, One-sama." "Hello, Hanabi," said Naruto with Hinata smiling at her direction. When Hanabi got closer, she could see what they were doing. "Oh, my goodness, this tea table is so pretty," said Hanabi as she took a better look. "It is a gift for Akane-sama, for all that she has done for me," said Naruto. Naruto still remembered how Akane told him that night that he could earn money by using his Mokyudan to create furniture. He wasn't sure at first, but he gave it a try using a henge to look like an older man. He sold a table he created after seeing a similar one in a magazine gifted to him by Akane. The wooden furniture made by the Mokyudan seemed to be of an excellent quality. They were well received, and thus Naruto was well paid. And that allowed him to get good things of his own, like equipment, ninja tools, and scrolls, especially advanced ones like the ones used to learn Fuinjutsu. "I am sure Mother will love it," said Hinata. "Really, I hope so. By the way, if you ever want specific furniture, just tell me and it will be my pleasure to make it for you." "Then one day I will take you up on that," answered Hanabi. "What are you doing?" They heard a voice from behind them. When they turned, they saw Ino and Ikumo greeting them. "Nothing, just talking about the present that Naruto said he will give us," said Hanabi. "Really?" said both Ino and Ikumo. Over the last year, just like Hinata and Hanabi, Ino and Ikumo had changed for the better. In Ikumo's case, the once sickly girl who was about to abandon her dream of becoming a shinobi now had a strong body which allowed her to be one of the best students the academy had seen in a long time, especially for her desire to always push her limits. Ino on her part also changed, and not only her personality. She moved from being a fangirl to a girl who was working to be a real shinobi, but her body also changed. Before, she was a skinny girl who dieted to attract the attention of a boy, but after Naruto told them that they were ready for the serious training, she and the others ended up attacking the food when they finished the day of training. She could still remember how she and Hinata ended up in a little battle to see who could eat more ramen. It was something spontaneous, and even if she lost, she was determined to win eventually. She never had this much fun before because her other two friends, Shikamaru and Choji, would remain sitting under a tree eating potato chips while they looked at the clouds if they could, and that was fine once in a while, but not every single day. Sakura, she preferred to not think about her anymore. As a consequence of her new training and eating properly, she had developed some good muscles that highlighted her body, the same as Hinata, Hanabi and Ikumo, but because she was the skinniest the changes were more evident. "By the way, here are the seeds that you wanted," said Ino as she handed Naruto a small package. "Thanks a lot, Inachin," said Naruto as he received them, never seeing the small blush on Ino's face. They were just seeds, but they were from exceedingly rare plants and trees that Naruto could make grow with his Mokyudan. Thanks to her family's business, she could easily get those seeds. "With this I will be able to make more stuff and get more money," said Naruto. "You know, with the money that you are earning with the furniture that you create, you could live an easy life if you wanted to," said Ikumo. "But where's the fun in that?" answered Naruto. "By the way, are you ready for tomorrow's field trip?" All the girls replied by showing him their left hands where he could see a small mark that looked like a small mole. "Always have a set of your equipment ready in case of an emergency," said the girls at the same time, like it was something that they had heard a lot. "I see that you have improved your use of Fuinjutsu," said Naruto. "Yes, even my dad was impressed when he saw me get my gear ready in my room. He said that only Chunin begin to learn about Fuinjutsu, and even then few are actually any good at it," said Ino. "Our parents felt the same way," said Hinata and Hanabi. "Mine too. That makes me wonder how you got so good at Fuinjutsu," asked Ikumo. "Do not forget the Kage Bunshin," added Ino. Ever since they began to train seriously with him after the night he told them his secrets, Naruto had proven to be an excellent teacher. The speed and level they were learning with him was much better than that of the academy. Naruto even taught them how to use the Kage Bunshin, and now each girl could do 2 of them. When Naruto told them the little trick behind that jutsu and how it could be used, the girls were surprised because they could have their clones learning different things while they trained their real bodies. And of course, one of the things that Naruto had taught them about was Fuinjutsu and Uryo Ninjutsu. "I am just giving you pointers, you are the ones who are fast learners," was Naruto's reply. "Anyway, I just hope that we get in the same group." With that said, they began to prepare for the training field trip that will mark the end of their academy days, with the final exam a couple days after. The next day, "Now everyone listen to me," said Iruka as he stopped in front of a group of Chunin. "We will divide the class into groups of 5 people who will be under the guidance of a Chunin. The teams have already been selected, as well as your team leaders. Now each one of you will be leaving as soon as you hear your team. With that, all the students began to be called until there were only 10 people in the room. On one side Naruto and the girls, and on the other side Sasuke, Sakura, and 3 random Uchiha boys. Naruto and Sasuke looked at each other with cold eyes. It was no secret that they didn't like each other. Naruto at least tried to be polite because he respected both Itachi and Makoto, but Sasuke had a big attitude problem and he didn't like him. Sasuke for his part wanted nothing more than to show the village and the family that ignored him that he was superior to that moron. And even if he managed to take away one of his friends and made her one of his followers, he wasn't happy that it was that stupid fangirl. Okay, now Sasuke, Sakura, Kai, Shin, and Sano, you are with me. The rest of you will go with Mizuki, said Iruka. The reason for this choice was simple. With Sasuke being the younger brother of the next Hokage, it was only natural that the lead teacher would be in charge of his group. And because it was evident that neither Naruto or Sasuke liked each other, it would be for the best if they aren't in the same group. Considering that no one outside the council was informed about Naruto's new power, that choice was evident. With that said, Iruka left the classroom, followed by the students he had called. Sasuke gave a final dark look at Naruto before leaving the room. What is that idiot's problem? Asked Ino. Ever since her experience with him, she began to see him for what he really was. Just ignore him, said Yakumo. You don't have to worry about this. By the way, where is your equipment? Asked Mizuki in a friendly way. We have them in some Fuinjutsu. That way it's easier to carry them, answered Hanabi. Really, you really are the best students of the class. Now I will tell you that in order to avoid unnecessary intervention from others, each team was assigned to a different area, said Mizuki. We are going to a field that is close to a training area. It is a little apart from the others, but that ensures us that we won't be bothered by anyone. With that, Mizuki left the room with Naruto and the girls following him towards their destination. It was a long walk that took them to the border of the security perimeter of the village. When Mizuki gave the order to make camp and assign the tasks to pitch the tents, look for food and water as if it was a normal camp. Naruto could have provided a cabin without trouble, but he didn't want to reveal his Mokuden. Naruto and the girls did the tasks they were assigned, and soon all the work was done and the camp was ready. All this happened while Mizuki supervised and assessed them. Later that night, they were sitting in front of the campfire talking about many things, but then Naruto felt a change in the air, and he stand up looking at the far side of the field. It's about damn time, said Mizuki as he stood up as well. What is going on? Asked Hinata as she stood up as well along with the other girls. There are many people, shinobi by their chakra signature, heading this way, said Naruto as he turned to Mizuki, remembering what he just said. You know them? Of course I know them. After all, I was the one who told them that we would be here. Sensei, asked Hanabi. Stop calling me that. Do you know how much I hate being with stupid brats like you all day? For all this time now you are my ticket to the winner's circle. Once Orochimaru-sama sees that I gave him such fine specimens for his experiments, he will make me his second in command. You are a traitor, said Yakumo as she pointed her kunai toward him. How can I be a traitor if I was never on your side? In that moment, 2ANBU jumped in between Mizuki and the kids. I knew that you have some guards after all. The Mokuden is too valuable for this village, Mizuki. How do you know about that? Asked an ANBU with purple hair and a katana. That doesn't matter. Besides, you have other things to worry about, Mizuki. At that moment, around 50 shinobi began to walk from the shadows of the trees. They were heavy outnumbered. Don't think that we will make things easy for you. Once the battle begins, all the shinobi in the area will come here, said the purple-haired ANBU. About that, Mizuki, BOOM. They could hear a big explosion in the distance. That explosion just happened in the other side of the village, and now all the shinobi in the area are heading toward that direction, said Mizuki with a dark smile. Why are you doing this? Finally asked Naruto. To be honest, he never liked that teacher, but he had to respect his position in the academy. Because I hate you in this village, and nothing will make me happier than destroying this village and its people, Mizuki. Then why involve them if you want me, Naruto? They are a bonus to Hyuga, a Yamanaka, and the special power of that Kurama clan girl. Oh, I can already imagine their screams of pain when Orochimaru-sama begins to cut them up to study their bodies. You are a sick monster, said Naruto. One monster recognizes another. By the way, girls, do you want to know a little secret, Mizuki? If you are talking about the Kyuubi, save your breath. We have known for a long time and we do not care. Hinata, Naruto-kun is right. You are the only monster here, Hanabi. Now that we know you are a traitor, we don't have to pretend to respect you. You are the worst teacher that we've ever had. Yakumo, if you think that we will follow you without a fight, you are stupider than you look. Ino, we will see. We have wasted enough time. Get them, Mizuki. With that, all the shinobi charged towards them. One of the ANBU got ready to fight as he charged toward the enemies, while the other stayed to face Mizuki, but before he had the chance to end him, another group of enemies came to help him. Let's do this. Try to support the ANBU as we fight. That is out. Best option. Battle formation 1A, said Naruto as he and the girls made the cage bunch and hand signs. While Naruto made around 20 of them, the girls only did 2 each, but that would be enough for now. Ino stayed in the center with her 2 clones at her sides, while the original took her kunai and got ready to the fight. Her 2 clones began to make the hand signs for her clan jutsu. When they were ready, they used it. Shin and Shin no jutsu, said both clones as they used their attack while the real body stayed on guard. Ever since she began to train with Naruto and the others, Ino also began to take her training in her clan arts more seriously. So when she was training in front of Naruto and the others, Naruto asked her what would happen if the enemy managed to attack her real body while she is using her jutsu. Ino told him that she could die, and that is the reason why she depended on her teammates at those times. After hearing this, Naruto told her that while trust in their teammates is something good, she also needed to find a way to defend herself in case the situation became too dangerous. When Ino asked him about what she could do, he offered to teach her the Kage Bunshin. That way she could have the clones do the jutsu while the real one stayed alert. When the other girls heard that Naruto would teach Ino the jutsu, they asked him to teach them as well, something which he did, and each girl adapted the technique to her own use. One moment after Ino's clones used the technique, 2 enemy shinobi that were in the backside of the attackers began to throw their kunai at the allies in front of them. "Hirayoko, what the hell are you doing?" said one of the enemies, who managed to avoid the attack. "You shouldn't be bad guys and attack us," said both shinobi in unison. From her side, Ino saw how her clones executed their plan, and as expected they managed to take them by surprise and kill a few of them. Ino decided long ago that she would become a great shinobi and would not look back. She would walk forward in the company of her friends as they followed Naruto, who had become their guiding light. Soon the enemies that her clones controlled were killed by their own companions, and her clones moved to look for other targets. Yakumo took some storage scrolls and released their contents. It was a painting, but this painting depicted a volcanic land with magma running over the entire landscape. When she activated her clan skill, the enemies that were heading in their direction stopped when they saw they were about to step over a river of magma. They knew it was an illusion, but before they had the chance to dispel the illusion, a few well-placed kunai ended their lives. Hinata and Hanabi knew that with their body sizes they would need to get closer to the enemies in order to use their juken. Following the advice of Naruto, they would use the clones to make an opening, and they would target the head or the heart to make sure that they killed them with a single strike before moving on to the next enemy. Thanks to the training that they received from their mother and the practice that they had with Naruto when he attacked them with many of his clones, they are somewhat familiar with facing many targets at the same time, but this time the targets are real and are after their lives. They would do what they had been training to do. There was no way that they would allow their stories to end here in this way. With their clones providing an opening, Hinata and Hanabi began to take down one enemy after another. Naruto had a couple of clones in position, ready to help the girls in case they needed it. However, so far, they were doing well. Naruto began to direct his clones using water jutsu, earth jutsu, and some wind jutsu, but mostly using the taijutsu that he had been practicing with the old Chen Roshi. So far, it looked like they would make it. They could do this, they could win this battle. But the moment that Naruto thought that something changed in the battle, "These useless idiots," said an enemy shinobi wearing glasses behind a mask and silver hair. By the looks of things, he seemed to be the leader. It seems that the plan is not working as expected, but that just goes to show how impressive Naruto and the girls really are. Now the time for games is over. In that moment he began to make hand sings, and when he was done, everything changed. Soon all the enemies stopped as they raised their hands towards their heads and began to scream in pain as dark marks began to cover their bodies, and they changed into some kind of dark-skinned monsters. "What the hell," said one of the ANBU, who until this moment was having an easy time facing Mizuki and his men, but now these monsters were something different, turning this into a very hard fight. The ANBU was not the only one as his partner, Naruto, and the girls began to feel the increase in their enemy's strength, making the battle more difficult. "Something is happening to these guys," said Yakumo as one of her clones was destroyed by an enemy. "I know. What are these markings?" asked Ino after she lost a clone. "We need to regroup," said Hinata with Hanabi following her. The group of enemies in front of them took a deep breath, and they knew what that meant. "They are going to use a fire jutsu," said Ino. Naruto made use of his earth element to create an earth wall that stopped the attack, but those shinobi monsters began to jump over the wall. Naruto's clone jumped to intercept them, but they were too many, and soon his clones began to be taken down one by one. The situation began to turn for the worse. Soon they began to surround them. The ANBU with the purple hair also joined them. She had been killing them with her sword, but now things are getting out of hand. Normally she would have already taken Naruto and escaped, even if the boy resisted. Her mission was to protect him, but with the 2 daughters of her captain she knew that she couldn't leave them. Before she had the time to think of another plan, the leader of the group, who was looking from the distance, made a new series of hand signs, and soon the result could be heard. BOOM. Every single one of the shinobi monsters exploded at the same time, taking everyone by surprise. What that hell? The person that said this was Mizuki, who was in excruciating pain on the ground after he got caught in the explosion. He remained behind the monsters that were fighting against the ANBU, enjoying the show, but when they exploded, not only did they hurt and leave the ANBU unconscious, but he was also caught in the explosion as well. What is the meaning of this? This wasn't part of the deal. Fool, did you really believe that Orochimaru-sama would accept a pathetic loser like you? You were only a pawn, and a useless one. You couldn't even capture a group of kids. What a loser, said the leader with silver hair. What did you do? Asked Naruto as he struggled to stand up. Like the others, the explosion took him by surprise and he is now injured, but the worst part was that when he turned around to see the girls, he saw them also on the ground and hurt. He could even see them bleeding. He didn't need to hear his answer after that because now he doesn't care. He would put an end to this and help his friends, one way or another. Ignoring the pain that he was feeling, somehow, he managed to stand up and turn to face the silver-haired man who was walking towards him with 4 shinobi. But these were different from the others who just exploded. They just look rare. Hell, one even had 4 arms. But that didn't matter, he needed to stop them. When he tried to cast his chakra, the injuries in his body and the fatigue that he had ignored began to exact their price, and with a painful expression on his face he put a knee on the ground. Naruto said the girls when they saw him in pain. You said that this boy was special? Hell, even this useless fat pig is more impressive, said the only girl in the group. Oh, shut up or I will do it for you, said the fat man. Just try it, was her answer. You two cut it out, we had orders, we will take them with us, said the silver-haired man in mask. Naruto for his part stood with the last of his energy, scared not for him, but for what could happen to the girls. Hey Kurama, a little help here would really be appreciated. You need my help for enemies of this level. What that hell have you been training for? Asked Kurama. It is not my fault that they made the other guys explode, answered Naruto. If you'd killed them all when you had the chance, none of this would be happening. I hope you learn from this experience, said Kurama. Can you save the lecture for when we are safe, said Naruto. They are not easy enemies. The level of chakra that I need to give you in order to survive will hurt you, said Kurama. Do we have any other options, said Naruto. No, but I do not want to hear your complaints after this, as Kurama began to pour his chakra into Naruto's body. Grrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr getting worried about what they saw. Remember to focus, said Kurama as he was getting worried that his chakra could hurt Naruto. What the hell is happening? What is that Gaki doing? Asked the man with 4 arms. He is trying to use the Kyuubi's chakra, but he is too young to control it. This is bad. The other shinobi will feel this power and come here. We need to take him now, said the silver-haired one. The red chakra that covered Naruto began to change and golden parts began to cover his body. Turning to see the enemies once more, in the blink of an eye he was right in front of them and punching the fat man in the stomach, sending him flying backwards. You damn brat, said the red-haired woman who tried to take out a flute, but before she has the chance to use it, she receives a kick in her face. Amazing, thought the girls from their position. Not bad, Gaki, but now your luck has run out, said the man with 4 arms, but this time the silver-haired one put a hand on his shoulder. We need to leave. Why, we can take that brat, was the answer. All the shinobi in this village must have felt his chakra, and taking him down will take more time. Orochimaru-sama will not be pleased by this, said a pale purple-haired man. Maybe not, but the one who will carry the blame is that fool over there, said the silver-haired man as he pointed to Mizuki. Wait, you can't do this to me. That wasn't part of the deal. That deal wasn't with us, was the 4-armed man's reply as he turned around to help the red-haired girl stand up. Listen well, brat, this isn't over. One day we will come after you and your friends, said the silver-haired one. I will never allow that to happen, Naruto. Naruto never got to hear if they replied, as they disappeared into the shadows. Wait, you can't leave me here, said Mizuki, who was still trying to stand up. That noise only made Naruto remember that the one responsible for all this was still within his range. You, all this is your doing. Stay away, monster. But Naruto didn't hear him as he needed someone to release his frustration, and Mizuki won the prize. Take this, said Naruto as he began to beat him into the ground. Some moments later a group of shinobi arrived, and for a moment they believed that the Kyuubi took control over Naruto and was attacking his comrades. But one of the ANBU, the purple-haired one, who had recovered the consciousness, managed to explain to them what had just happened. Wait, that Chunin is a traitor. He sold us out to Orochimaru. He was planning to give him the Mokyuden, and so she began to retell the recent events. While she was talking to the others, Naruto began to walk toward the girls. Please don't move, I will cure you in a moment, said Naruto. He didn't bother to ask if they were okay, because it was evident that they weren't, and that only made him feel worse. Using his chakra he began to heal them one by one. The girls looked at his appearance with that golden layer covering his body one moment, and the next it was gone, allowing them to see his body. One by one he began to heal their injuries. Even when a medic ninja came, he said that he would do it himself, and only when the last of them was cured did he allow himself to fall unconscious. Naruto-kun, said the girls with worry. It is okay, he just used too much chakra, and now he needs to rest, said the medic ninja who Naruto stopped earlier. The other shinobi came after they had taken Mizuki to his unexpected meeting with Hibiki, while others took Naruto to the hospital with the girls close behind. Inside Naruto's mind, you know, you may be my little brother, but you coming to visit like this each time that someone beats you is kind of pathetic, Kurama. Hey, that is not my fault. How I was supposed to know that stupid teacher was a traitor, Naruto? That may not be possible, but being ready in case the worst happens is something that I have told you before, Kurama. Over time, the relationship between Naruto and Kurama had evolved to a one like an older brother and younger brother. That also included the right the big brother had to bother the little one. Seriously, even with all the advice and training that I have given you over the years, you couldn't deal with this level of trouble? Kurama joked about the situation. You will see, I will kick their asses next time, said Naruto with energy, but then the memory of the girls getting injured came back to his mind. What is wrong, Kurama? The girls, they got hurt, and I couldn't save them, Since the moment that they chose to become ninja, they were meant to get hurt at one moment or another, Kurama. I know, but this is different. Those guys came after me. Do you think that they will care about that they will help you even if you don't want it? I know, and it is very frustrating to know that there is nothing that I can do to stop it, Naruto. There is something you can do. It will not completely stop them from getting hurt, but in case of emergency they will always have extra help. What are you talking about? Asked an interested Naruto. Tell me, just how badly do you want to protect the girls? Kurama asked Naruto with a funny grin on his face. Time skip. A couple days later, Konoha Council. As you know, a couple days ago, Orochimaru sent a group of his men to capture Naruto and get both the Mokuton and the Kyuubi, said the Hokage. That caused many of those present to talk between themselves, but the Hokage took control of the meeting again. As you know, we kept the information related to the Mokuton a secret that very few knew about, and given the connection with Orochimaru, that only gives us one suspect. Danzo, said Itachi, who was standing next to the Hokage. This is troublesome, but we already suspected that the traitorous Sannin is the one who implanted the Sharingan and the cells from Hashirama, said Shikaku. So, the possibility that he went to him for help is something that we had expected, but this confirms it. We can no longer take a passive position before this matter. They have been plotting to destroy us for the last year, and we need to put an end to this, said Fugaku. I am ordering a complete search in order to find any information about them, said the Hokage. Then what will you finally do? What you should have done years ago? Asked Hayashi. This level of hostility would never have happened before, but Hiruzen had no other option but to accept that his past mistakes were causing others to lose confidence in his skill to lead the village. The worst part was that he couldn't blame them, because he still remembered how the first Hokage told him about his battle with Madara. He loved Madara like a brother, but in order to protect the village he was willing to kill him. Yet he allowed his student who killed members of this village, and his former teammate who betrayed the shinobi of this village to both run away. He did not know how he could face his sensei when he was to meet him in the afterlife, and those two were still alive trying to destroy Konoha. No, this time I will show no mercy and I will do what is necessary to protect this village, was Sarutobi's answer. What about Naruto and the girls? I hear that he wasn't alone when the attack happened, said Tsume. He suffered from chakra exhaustion, but he is fine. He even cured the girls after the battle, so they are also fine, said Itachi. That leads us to another problem. Now that Orochimaru is after Naruto, his life is in more danger than we can imagine, especially if Danzo is joining forces with him, said Choza. You cannot forget that if they targeted the girls the last time, it's possible for them to do it again in order to get to Naruto, said Shikaku. This is an unexpected situation, but we need to do something, said Choza. Of course, we will. I refuse to allow my daughter to face that level of danger without any way to protect her, said Inoichi. The same comes from me, especially because my two daughters are in danger, said Hayashi. Unfortunately, we have a situation. There are 5 of them. That means that we can't put all of them on the same team. We will need to place them on at least 2 teams, and those teams will need special protection, said Shikaku. Everyone knew that he was right, and having 2 teams under special protection would reduce the effectiveness of this generation. Besides, that would reduce the experience they could get that would allow them to become stronger in the future. I have an idea that can resolve this situation, but not everyone is going to like it, said Itachi. Really, and what ideas is that? Asked Hiruzen. About that, Naruto and the girls were taking a walk in the forest on their way toward Naruto's home. Naruto was just released from the hospital, and the girls could see that something was bothering him. They knew that it was the events that happened, and to be honest, they can't blame him because they feel the same. For their parts, it bothers them that when they couldn't move, Naruto had to fight alone to protect them, even when they had promised that they would always fight together. Despite their promise, in the end, they failed in their goal. The girls were talking about this while they were in the hospital, and while they felt bad about this, they knew that Naruto would feel even worse, and for that reason they agreed that the first thing they needed to do was cheering him up. So far, Naruto had remained silent the entire time, and when they asked him if he needed anything, he just gave a small smile and said that he was okay. Halfway to his home, he stopped for a moment and looked at them. Sorry that I was a little distracted. I was just thinking about something, but before I can make a decision, I need to know your opinions. About what? Asked Hinata, a little worried about Naruto's serious face. I can't tell you here. It has to be in my home. Naruto. The girls understood. They knew that they were being observed by ANBU. Given the recent events, that was something to be expected, so they headed towards Naruto's home. Once they arrived, they saw Naruto activate a privacy seal. I am sorry for ignoring you when we were walking, but I was having a talk with Kurama. The girls knew that he meant the Kyuubi, as over the last year Naruto had shared with them that he had the Kyuubi sealed inside him. He even told them about his dreams when they began to ask where he learned all the things that he knew and was teaching them. He also relayed to them how Kurama told him that these dreams seemed to be the proof that he was the reincarnation of the first Hokage and another man who had a close relationship with Kurama, and that was the reason why he was helping him. The girls understood that they could no longer be surprised by anything that Naruto did, and agreed when Naruto asked them to keep that information a secret. Did he say something about the attack? Asked Hinata. He offered me a way to help you get stronger so you could have a better chance if you ever faced a situation like the one that we just suffered, Naruto. Really, how? Asked Ino, very interested to hear that idea. He said that I can place a mark on you that will allow you not only to control the natural chakra that you are learning how to use, but it will also allow you to connect to his power and allow you to use it. Naruto. Really, that is great, said an excited Hanabi. There is something wrong about this, isn't there? Asked Yakumo. All my life the village has treated me like a monster for something that I have no control over. They didn't take the time to get to know me, they just decided that I am a demon. If I give you this mark and the others learn what it does, you may end up receiving the same treatment that I received from the village. When the girls heard this, they got silent for a moment until Hinata broke the silence. So when Hinata said those words, the other girls turned to see her, so she continued. I'd rather be with the people who supported me for who I am rather than being worried about what strangers think. If they do not like my choice, that is their problem, but I will not stop living my life in the way that I want with the people that I want. I agree with when Sama, said Hanabi. You are my friends, and I do not have any intentions to lose any of you, so I am, and said Yakumo. If you believe that I will allow you to leave me behind, you are sorely mistaken, said Ino. When Naruto saw the reaction of the girls, a little laugh came from his, attracting the attention of the girls. You know, Kurama told me that I have no right to make the choice for you, and that the least I can do is ask for your opinions. It would seem that old Fox was right. Again Naruto remained silent for a moment before he spoke again. It seems that he does not like to be called old. He also told me I need to tell you that this will bond us together for the rest of our lives, that once it is done it cannot be undone, and for that you need to be sure about your choice, said Naruto. I already gave you my answer, said Hinata, with the others nodding their heads in support. Now how are you going to put that mark on us? Asked Hanabi. I don't know, I forgot to ask him that, said Naruto, with the girls almost falling on their backs. Then he had another little talk with Kurama. This time when he looked at the girls, he was blushing a little. What did he say? Asked Ino. He said that I need to bite you on the shoulder while I put a little of our chakra into the bite, said Naruto, looking at the ground. Hinata and the others also blushed a little, but they had already made a choice and they would not go back on their words. Therefore, with great determination, Hinata removed her coat and exposed her shoulder. Naruto knew what she meant, and stepping in front of her, looking into her pearly eyes one more time for confirmation, he received a nod from her. Naruto bit her shoulder, and he began to pour chakra into the bite, which also had some of Kurama's chakra. What neither Kurama nor Naruto realized was that part of the energy of the mask that allowed Naruto to remember his past lives also got mixed with their chakra and got into Hinata. Hinata, for her part, couldn't describe what she was feeling. She was expecting to feel pain. After all, it was a bite they were talking about. But after the initial contact, what she felt wasn't pain, it was something else: pleasure, euphoria, ecstasy. She didn't know, but she knew that she wanted more. Naruto, for his part, was worried that Hinata may be feeling a lot of pain because she had begun to breathe hard. He wanted to stop, but Kurama told him that he couldn't until they were done. A minute later, Naruto released her after Kurama told him they were finished. Hinata, are you okay? Asked a worried Naruto. The way her face was blushing coupled with her heavy breathing made him believe that the experience was painful for her. Oh yeah, yes, I am fine, was Hinata's answer. I didn't hurt you too much? Asked Naruto. No, I didn't feel pain, it was just a surprise to have chakra put into my body this way. That is all, said Hinata, who for a moment considered offering her other shoulder so he could mark her again. Okay, if you say that you are okay, then who's next? Naruto. He hadn't finished saying those words when Hanabi stood up and right in front of him with her shoulder exposed so he could mark her as well. When Naruto marked her sister, Hanabi had her Byakugan active and she could see it, how that beautiful golden chakra came from Naruto's body and went into her sister's body, invading her chakra network. That was something that she wanted to feel as well. Hanabi came back to the reality when she felt Naruto's hand touches her arms. Once again he seemed to ask for permission, something that she gave. Then it came. The same sensations that her sister felt a moment ago were now traveling through her body in the form of that beautiful golden chakra. When Naruto was done, she almost regretted that it was over so soon. The next one was Kurama, and just like Hinata and Hanabi, the sensations were very intense for her as she felt his chakra bathe her body as if it was water. Oh yeah, tonight she would make a painting that expressed what she was feeling right now, and then burn it because she would die of embarrassment if anyone were to see it. The last one was Ino, but that didn't mean what she felt was less intense than the others. This was a feeling she had never felt before. She didn't know how to explain it, but she was sure she wanted more, and by the looks on the other girls' faces she was sure they felt the same. When he was done with Ino, Naruto offered to make them something to eat so they could recover from the experience. Meanwhile, inside Naruto's mind, Kurama seemed to remember something. Did I tell him that that mark worked like a mate mark, and that means that he and the girls are now a pack? Well, who cares? I never understood human mating habits anyway. Besides, I get the feeling that whatever happens will be fun, and I certainly need entertainment. It was late at night in the Hyuga compound, and Hinata was sleeping in her room. It had been a couple of days since she received Naruto's mark, and so far, everything seemed normal. The only difference from her ordinary routine was that Naruto told her that Kurama told them to rest for a couple of days in order to fully adapt to the new marks. That was something to be expected, and in the first few days nothing happened, but that changed last night. She had a dream that she couldn't remember. She had those kind of dreams in the past, but for some reason she felt that this one was different, special. Tonight, she was having the same dream, but unlike the last time, she could see it as clear as day. She saw a small compound in the middle of a valley. The inhabitants seemed to be celebrating something. She didn't know why they were so happy, but she could see that all those celebrating seemed relieved, as if a great weight had just been lifted from their shoulders. Nevertheless, more than anything she could see how a young woman seemed to be happy, and somehow, she knew why she was happy. The man that she loved, Asura, had finally been acknowledged. All his hard work and determination had finally shown its results. For Hinata, this was strange, because for some reason she knew what she was thinking and feeling. She even knew her name was Kana. Anyway, she felt happy for her. Everything seemed to be perfect, but there was a big explosion in front of the compound, and everyone went to see what was happening. It was a man, but not just any man. It was Asura's older brother. Asura and his father saw him and walked over to talk with him. From her position she couldn't hear what they were saying, but she could tell by their body language that something very bad was about to happen. Her fears become a reality when the older brother attacked his father and Asura. At first Asura seemed to have the advantage, but then his brother created that terrible giant made of chakra and the battle became more intense. Things seemed to be turning for the worse when that giant sent Asura flying backwards with one of its attacks. No, she had to help him. Looking around she saw that she wasn't the only one who thought that way, as the other people in the compound seemed to be ready to take action. At that moment she and the others attacked the giant made of chakra, calling its attention. Asura was safe at least for now, but now she and the others were in trouble as the attention of the first brother was now on them, and it seemed that he would not give them the chance to help Asura a second time. He was getting ready to kill them all. Asura stopped his attack using the power he received from his father, but even that was not enough. She and the others joined forces with Asura's father and sent their chakra to Asura. What happened next would be a scene that she remembered for the rest of her life, as Asura created his own giant, but this one was made of wood. Facing his brother, Asura charged with all his power. Indra, Ashura. Hinata woke up at the same moment that they crashed against each other. She was breathing hard, with the images still present in her mind. This dream, it is like the one that Naruto told us about, but how this is possible, Hinata asked herself. The dream felt so real that she could still remember every detail. I wonder if this is what Naruto feels each time that he has one of these dreams, Hinata said aloud. Then she began to remember something in particular. Kana. She saw how that woman was willing to face that monster in order to help her beloved. That kind of love and dedication. That was the kind of woman she wanted to be. What Hinata didn't know in that moment is that she wasn't the only one who had that dream, as Hanabi, Hikumo and Ino just had the same dream, feeling the same things that she felt and arriving at the same conclusions. I want to be as strong as Kana, said Hinata, Hanabi, Ino and Hikumo at the same time, even if they were in different locations. The next morning. Today was the day that the teams would be assigned, and there was a lot of tension between Hinata, Ino, Hanabi and Hikumo. Only two of them would be on the same team as Naruto, because they know that the teams were always made up of 3 members. However, more importantly, they knew that the girls who ended up on the same team as Naruto would have a big advantage, as they would spend more time with him. Even with that knowledge, they had a fire inside them telling them keep moving forward, to never give up, and to fight for what they wanted. They wanted to believe in these dreams they'd had in the last few days, and with a little help from the chakra that they received from Kyuubi, a small part of their instincts were waking up. I wonder what team we will end up on, asked Hanabi. To be honest, I have no idea about which team we will end up on, said Hikumo. I am worried that I will end up on the same team with Shikamaru and Choji. Don't get me wrong, they are my friends and are good boys in their own way, but I don't feel as close with them as I feel with any of you, said Ino. The fact that she also looked at Naruto wasn't missed by any of the other girls. I am afraid that they will have sisters on the same team, said Hinata as she sat closer to Naruto. Naruto for his part still believed they were talking about the teams, ignorant of the small competition that had just begun. Before they could say anything else, a person that none of them liked interrupted. Maybe this time one of you will get lucky and be on my team, said Sasuke. I'll pass, said all the girls at the same time. Ever since Sasuke began to train with that NBU, his attitude had taken a turn for the worse. Something that some teachers could see, and for that reason they no longer made him spar with Naruto because they could see how that would make him even worse. Nevertheless, with him being the new heir of the Uchiha clan and with his brother being the next Hokage, they didn't dare report him for psychological evaluation. They just hoped that time would fix his attitude. However, they girls only needed one reason to stay away from him. They just didn't like the idiot. Behind him, Ino could see Sakura. However, there was something off about her. She was no longer the same girl who at one point Ino had considered a friend. That day, when Ino tried to warn her about the real intentions of Sasuke, she failed. No, that wasn't correct, she did warn her, but Sakura refused to listen to her. Her image of her perfect love with Sasuke was too strong, and in the end she refused to see the truth. Now she seemed strange, she couldn't explain it, but there was something in her eyes that told Ino that something was wrong. Sakura POV. Why is he doing it again? Am I not enough for him? Thought Sakura as he saw how Sasuke was once again trying to convince those girls to join him. They do not deserve you, they are too stupid, wanting to be with Naruto, Sakura thought. Even with all the hard work and sacrifice I put in to show you that I am your perfect girl, you still don't love me. Flashback. Where are we going? Sasuke-kun asked Sakura as she followed him to an abandoned part of the forest. To meet someone who can help us, was Sasuke's only reply. After a few more minutes, they managed to arrive at a clearing in the forest, but they were not alone as someone else was already there. It was a cloaked figure who had a strange mask that gave her the impression that he was an ANBU. There was something off about his mask, but she didn't pay too much attention after all. Sasuke was the brother of the future Hokage, so it was only natural that the ANBU paid him special attention. You are late, and that is not funny. I am the one who is supposed to be late, the ANBU said. You also believe you are funny, something that you aren't, Tobai, was Sasuke's reply. Whatever, and who is she, your lover? Asked the masked man. For a moment that question made her happy because she genuinely believed that Sasuke would confirm that, showing that he had finally accepted her. No, she is just my follower, said Sasuke, breaking Sakura's hope. Whatever, if you bring her here that means that you want me to train her as well, Tobai said. I will show that loser that I will get the best followers, was Sasuke's only reply. What about the others? Tobai said. The clan is still celebrating Itachi's announcement as the next Hokage. Their families will keep them busy there, but they will come to the next session, Sasuke said. What about you? Tobai said. I am not needed there, was Sasuke's only reply. Tobai for his part smiled under his mask before he turned towards Sakura. Why are you here? Tobai said. I just want to help Sasuke in any way I can, said Sakura, who was a little intimidated by that mask. With your current level that will be impossible. Maybe you should leave now before you get hurt, Tobai said. Though I want to prove that I can help Sasuke no matter what, Sakura said. If that is your wish, but don't say I didn't give you the chance to leave, because I will not hold back, Tobai said. That was how it began, and just as that Tobai man promised her, he didn't hold back, but she kept trying, all for the sake of showing Sasuke that she deserved to be by his side. In the next session, another boy also joined them with the training. He was a clansman from the Uchiha clan who also attended the academy with them. Moreover, in every session Tobai showed them how brutal his training could be, but that didn't matter because this was just a test to show Sasuke that she was his ideal girl. After some time, she realized that Sasuke began to talk less and less with her in each training session. In the end, he just gave an order and she and the other boy obeyed. The only interesting thing that happened was Tobai telling her that she should also learn Uryo Ninjutsu so she could be more useful to Sasuke, something that she did, but once again, nothing changed between she and Sasuke. Why can't see you me? I am right here, Sasuke-kun, Sakura thought. End of POV. Sasuke didn't like how these girls kept rejecting him. It wasn't that he was interested in them, but they were strong, and they could be useful tools to help him show this village that he was the most powerful shinobi of his generation, even better than his brother. However, more importantly, he just wanted to take them away from Naruto. Before he had the chance to say anything else, Iruka entered and called the class to attention. Today is the day that you will know on which team you will be assigned. This marks the beginning of a new chapter in your ninja careers. However, I hope that you will never forget the bonds that you made here with all your classmates. Because even if you are not on the same team, you are all from this moment Konoha Shinobi, and never forget that as long as you all follow the will of fire, your paths will cross again. Now the teams will as follow. Team 1. Iruka said. One by one the teams were called and left with their new sensei, leaving less students with each call, until Team 7 will be formed by Uchiha Sasuke, Haruno Sakura, and Sai. Your new sensei will be Hideki Kakashi. He will be waiting for you on the roof, Iruka continued. After Iruka called their names, Sasuke turned to see Naruto and his friends to give them one final glare before he left. Naruto and the girls were waiting to be called in order to finally know how their teams would be formed when they saw how Iruka closed the notebook with the list of the new teams. Hey, wait a minute, why didn't you call us? Asked Naruto. We are also missing one person to make 2 teams with the people left in this room, Hanabi said. That is because there will not be 2 new teams, said a voice from outside the window. When they all turned to see who it was, they were surprised. Mikita-sama asked Tsunade. Hello Hinata-chan, everyone, but I believe that from this moment you will need to call me as team leader. The surprise was evident on their faces as they remained silent. Finally, after a few moments, it was Ino who asked the question that was on everyone's mind. What is happening? I've never heard of genin teams of 5 people. That is correct. The genin teams are formed by 3 genin and their jounin instructor, but the A and BU teams on the other hand, answered Mikoto. A and BU, but we just graduated, asked Hikumo. Normally you would be correct, but on occasions when a genin shows special talents they are selected to begin a special training that will allow them to become special operatives in the future. Considering what happened with the Mizuki incident, I believe that it is safe to admit that all of you meet for this requirement, Mikoto said. Even if we are 5 people, asked Naruto. Normally we only select a couple of promising talents, but in this case we will make an exception. Now you need to go home and get some rest, because believe me you are going to need it, and present yourselves tomorrow at 800 in the training ground 43. With that said, Mikoto jumped out of the window. Do you know what this means? Said a happy Hanabi. Yes, we managed to remain together, answered Ino with a big smile, with Hikumo and Hinata doing the same. However, they saw that Naruto had a serious face. What happened, Naruto? Could it be that you are not happy to be with us on the same team? Asked Ino, pretending to look hurt. Oh no, I am really happy. It is just that I get the feeling that we do not know the full story behind this arrangement, said Naruto as he looked to where Mikoto had just left. Later that night, Mikoto was sitting in a private room of an exclusive restaurant. She was looking at the window as if she was waiting for someone when that someone arrived. "Thank you for coming," said Akane as she sat in front of Mikoto. "There is no problem. In fact, I was expecting this meeting," said Mikoto. "This situation has become too unreal," Akane said. "I know, but under these circumstances we have no other choice," Mikoto said. "I am surprised by Itachi's idea. I know it must be hard for him to suggest that a group of children get admitted to the ANBU, just like him," Akane said. "There is no other choice with Danzo still out there and Orochimaru now learning the truth behind Naruto and the special talents of the girls. The only way to keep them safe without destroying their dreams for the future is to make sure that they are always close to some of a group of Konoha's elite," Mikoto said. "But I want to know why you offered yourself for this," Akane said. "Because it is my turn. Back when Itachi joined the ANBU I knew what would happen, what he would have to face while still being a kid, but at that moment I did nothing. The situation with the clan was very hard. Now all I want is to not only protect them as I should have done with Itachi and make sure that they can survive to meet their full potential. Besides, I owe you for always protecting my son. Now I will protect your daughters," Mikoto said. "I wonder what Kushina will say when she learns that you are her son," Sensei asked Akane. "The old Kushina that we knew will be worried to no end," laughed Mikoto. "But the old Kushina that we knew would never have left her son behind," said Akane. "I just can't get rid of this feeling that there is something more about that story," Mikoto said. "Any idea what could be?" Akane asked. "No, and that is what worries me," Mikoto said. "Do you think that we will see her again?" Akane asked. "I am sure of that, but when that happens the only thing I can think about is what will happen with her son after." Mikoto asked that the two friends remained in silence. Somewhere far away, a red-haired woman was looking outside the window. Kushina-sensei asked a young girl, pulling her out of her thoughts. "Sorry, did you say something?" asked Kushina. "No, it is that you seem very distracted in the last few days," said a girl with red hair. "It's nothing, I am just a little tired and I really want to complete this little mission so we can focus on your training. Now go to your room and do not wake the others. They need to rest and be ready for anything tomorrow," said Kushina. Her student looked at her one more time before she did as she was told. However, Kushina for her part kept looking outside the window, in a certain direction, toward where Konoha was located as a big pressure increased in her heart. "By Kami, what have I done?" she thought. Kushina journey. Inside Kushina's dream, Kushina was now standing right in front of her worst nightmare, the same bane that she has been holding for more of her life. The nine-tailed demon fox that she receives from Mido-sama is now free and is attacking the village. How can this be possible? If it were not for that man with the strange mask with only one eye, this would have been the happier day of her life, the day where she become a mother. She has awaited this day for so long and has many plans and dreams, but now they will be over. The Kyuubi was extracted from her. That means that she will not survive to see her son, Naruto, become a man. This will be her last moments. She could see how Minato was doing his best to stop the Nine Tails, but she knew that he needs an opening. Looking at her son, she gives him a goodbye on his forehead. She knew that she was about to die, so she will use her last minutes to give Minato the chance that he needs to stop the Kyuubi. So, gathering her last energy, she uses her special jutsu, the chakra chains. It worked and she could see how the Kyuubi stopped moving. Looking at Minato, she told him to hurry up. The next thing that she saw was how Minato summoned the altar to make the sealing process. That is when she knew what he was planning to do. He was planning to seal the Kyuubi inside their son. "No, Minato, leave me do the seal, that way Naruto will still has one parent to help him. You do not know what it's like to grow up alone with a monster inside you and the people looking at you with hate. That is why you are going to be here for him," was Minato's answer. Before she could ask what he is talking about, she saw how the Kyuubi was about to kill their son with its claws. Her motherly instincts give her the energy that she didn't had to use her body as a shield to protect her son. But her husband has another idea in mind and push her out of the way as he uses his body to protect their child. "I am sorry, Kushina, but you are right. Naruto will need a parent in the future and you are the only one that understand what he will be facing," said Minato as come out from his mouth. Before she could protest, Minato make the last hand signs of his life and said his final words. "Seal." In that moment the Kyuubi began to turn into chakra, then divide in two parts. One goes towards Naruto and the other right towards her. She could feel that energy coming inside her as she saw how the Shinigami began to devour Minato's soul. Minato Kushina screamed, but in that moment her surrounding changed and she is now in a hospital room. She knew because she has been here after many times after she got injured on any mission. She moves her hand towards her stomach. She could feel the chakra of the seal and she knew that the Kyuubi, well at least half of it, is inside her. In that moment a panic look appears on her face. Naruto. Kushina was about to get out of the hospital bed and look for her son, but... So, the Kyuubi was divided in two, said a voice from the other side of the room. Kushina turns around. She could not stop the hate showing from her face as she saw the masked man responsible for all this. She knew that there must be an ANBU close around and was about to call them as she began to face him to avenge Minato's death. But sadly, her body didn't have the energy and before she could call for help, he was right in front of her with his hand covering her mouth. "This will cause a delay in our plans as we aren't expecting to make 2 extractions. But do not worry, I will come back for you and your son, but I do not want him to grow knowing how to control his power, so I will give you a little present." With it she could see that his only visible eye from his mask changed to become a Sharingan as her world turned red with a black spiral. And in the center of that spiral she could see a baby, her son as it is moving far away, but for some reason she cannot run after him. Naruto. In the moment Kushina wake up, she went to the bathroom to wash her face, hoping to remove these images. Over the last few weeks, she has been having that dream more often and she didn't know what to do. But what bothered more is this feeling of void and guilt that she was feeling. It has been over 12 years since she leaves Konoha and her son. But even now she does not understand why she did. Sometimes she believed that she was protecting him because the seal will become unstable if the two of them remain close. Sometimes she believed that her son died with her husband and that the Kyuubi is taking control of his body. Sometimes she believed that it is only a matter of time for the Nine Tails to escape. All of those ideas that are in the past keep her moving and staying as far away possible as she can from Konoha had become weaker as the time moved on, and all the fear and rage that she used to feel had disappeared. But they were replaced for other feelings, shame and fear. How was possible for her to feel that way about her own son, the son that she has been waiting for too long to have? If Minato would see her now, he would be ashamed. Kushina-sensei, are you awake? Come a voice from outside the room. Yes, Karin. What did his answer? Kushina as normal as she could. Do you want me to order the breakfast? Asked Karin. Yes, please answer Kushina as she began to get ready and then leave the room of the inn where she and her group spend the night. She got out of her room and went to the dinner tables where she could see that the others were already there. They were Karin, Guren, Shizuka and Takuya. As she seats on the table as they wait for their food, she can't help but remember how they came to be a group. Looking at Karin, she recalls how she was on a bar one night. It has been raining and it was late at night. That was the only place that still opens in that little town. She was about to order something to get warm when she hears a conversation between two shinobi that were on the other table. Normally she would not have paid them attention, but there they said one word that she couldn't ignore. Uzumaki, said one of the men. Yeah, I just sell the information to those Kumo ninja about where they can find an Uzumaki family, and they give me a lot of money so we can drink all that we want, said the other man as he was about to take another cup of sake. Kunai hit his hand. ARGGGR. What did you said? Asked Kushina as she was now right in front of their table. What is wrong with you? That reply only got him a new kunai right on his shoulder. All the while the other man chose to remain still to avoid get hurt. I will ask one more time. Did you say Uzumaki? Said Kushina as she took another kunai. Seeing that this crazy woman was serious, that drunk man decides to answer. Yeah, there is an Uzumaki family of 3, 2 miles north of this village, but you are late if you wanted the reward because I just sell this info to a group of Kumo ninja. In that moment Kushina removed her hood showing her red hair, the mark of the Uzumaki clan. 2 miles north, said Kushina. You are in. Whatever that man was about to say ended when Kushina throw her kunai that pierce his throat as she leaves that bar. Kushina hurry up in that direction, hoping that she will make it on time. At the distance she could see fire and the sounds of battle. She used more chakra to speed up. When she arrives, she could see a lot of dead bodies in front of an old house, but one of them stand up. It was the body of a red-haired man. It seemed that he has faced the Kumo team and has managed to kill 6 of them. She was about to get close to see if he was still alive when she hears a scream from inside the house. MOOM. In the moment she remembered that it was supposed to be a family of 3, and that scream from inside the house, she hurries up to see how 2 Kumo ninjas were standing next to a woman in the ground has come from under her body, and a little girl was trying to wake her up. In that moment, the 2 Kumo ninja turned around just to be pierced by 2 chakra chains. She didn't waste any time with them as she was worried for her fellow Uzumaki. But as she got closer, she could see that it was too late. She then turned to the little girl that was crying and still tried to wake up her mom. Hello little one, you do not have to worry, I already deal with the bad guys. But my mommy does not wake up. Please help me to wake her up so we can find daddy, told the little girl. That actually hurt Kushina because she now has to inform that girl that her parents are gone and that this will be the last time that she will see their faces. My name is Kushina Uzumaki. What is your name? Uzumaki, like my mom and dad, asked the little girl. That is correct, and you are Karin Uzumaki. Nice to meet you, Karin, said Kushina as she looks at the body of her mother. It was obvious that she used her body to shield her. She tries to see she could recognize her face, but she was a little girl when she leaves the Uzumaki village and couldn't remember her. Karin, I am sorry, but your mommy will not awake. She is sleeping just like your dad. The little girl seemed to understand what Kushina is trying to tell her as silent tears come from her eyes. Will my mom and dad sleep together forever? Yes, they will. I promise that I will make them a nice place to sleep. Kushina took the body of Karin's mother and placed her next to her husband. Then she moves to a clear next to the house, and using an earth jutsu she made a grave long enough to have the 2 bodies. Then she proceeds to place them on the grave in a position where they were holding each other hands. Now standing before the 2 bodies were Kushina and Karin. Hello, I am Kushina Uzumaki. I am sorry for not arriving on time, but believe me, that if I had known that fellow clanmates were close and in trouble I would have arrived faster. I know that you are worried about Karin, but I promise as a fellow Uzumaki that I will take care of her and make sure that she grew to be a strong kunoichi that has the power to defend herself and her loved ones. After she said this, she places her hand on Karin's shoulder to give her conform and to indicate her that she can said her goodbyes to her parents. Mommy, Daddy, I hope that you can sleep well and that in your dreams you look after me because I will dream with you and I promise that I will be fine, maybe not today or tomorrow, but I will be fine one day and then you will feel happy for me. So now you can rest and thank you for me, my mommy and daddy, and with that more tears escaped from her eyes. In that moment, Kushina used an earth jutsu again to bury their bodies, and in case that you are wondering what happened to the Kumo ninjas, the answer was nothing. She leaves them in the open for the wild animals to take. Karin was the first of the girls to join her. Next to Karin is Guren. Kushina still can remember how she met her and how she stops her from commit the worst mistake of her life. It happens over 2 years after she meet Karin. They were traveling for all over the continent when they hear the rumor that the old bastard of Orochimaru was nearby. She has lost a couple of friends because that monster and wanted to make justice for them, but she wasn't alone and with Karin knew that she was not in condition to face him. But she can at least find off the information was correct, so she can send a message to the old man and he can send somebody. It was in the middle of the winter so there was snow all over the place when she saw a small town ahead of them. Look, Kushina-sensei, a town that means that today we will sleep indoors, said Karin. Who knows, this town is too small to head an inn, so unless that we manage to convince someone to allow us to stay in their home we will head to camp again. Kushina could see how Karin dropped her shoulders. It was in that moment that she saw a woman walking before them, but she was carrying someone else, a girl for what she could see. Excuse me, but do you need any help? Asked Kushina. The woman turns around to see Kushina and Karin. Hello, I see that you are travelers, said the woman. Nice to meet you, I am Kushina, and she is Karin. Replay Kushina, trying to be more friendly as possible, to show them that she is not a tread. I am Yukina. My pleasure, but I see that this little girl is hurt. Did something happen? Asked Kushina. I don't know, I just found her in the snow on my way back. I knew that if I leave her alone, she will die by the time that the night fall. Declare Yukina. If you need help it will be my pleasure to assist you. Express Kushina. Thank you. Replay Yukina. With that, Kushina took the unconscious girl from Yukina and began to follow her until they arrived to her home. When they were about to get to the door, someone come out really fast. Yell a small little boy that has just come out from the house. Yukimaru, you should not come out of the house, it is freezing. Tell Yukina. But I miss you, Mom, said Yukimaru. But I only leave for 2 hours as I went to give the medicine that I make to the old Sasama. Comment Yukina as she returns the hug of her son. In that moment the young boy saw that her mother wasn't alone. How are these people? They are Kushina and Karin. We do not the name of the girl, but she was unconscious on the snow. Really? Now why do you get inside and put to boil some water to make some tea to our guest? Yes, Mom. With that the little kid got inside the house. He seems to be a nice kid, said Kushina. He is my treasure. Where is his father? Asked Karin, but after seeing the look on Yukina's face she knew that she shouldn't ask that. He is no longer with us. I am sorry, I didn't mean to bother you. Do not worry, he was a fine man that make me happy on the time that we were together and he give me my little treasure. Upon hearing this, Kushina couldn't help but feel a hassle in her head that was show on her face. Are you feeling all right? Asked Yukina when she saw Kushina's expression. Yes, it is nothing. We better get inside, and with that said Yukina lead to into the house. At the inside of the house, they put the girl they found outside on the couch. Inside the dream of Guren. There was fire all over her clan complex. She could hear the screams of her clan members all over the place as a little Guren was running over the place looking for her friend Mina. Mina was years older than her, but she is the only friend that she has in this complex. Ever since she awakens her line everything changes for her and not for the better. Because she has more talent than the other kids, they call her a monster and the adults were always talking about how they could use her to improve their clan's position. Literally she feels like a stranger in her own clan and with her both parents' death she feels no real connection with them. The only one that mattered to her in her clan was Mina. She was like the older sister she always wanted. It seems that when she lost her parents, Guren's parents took care of her, and when they also died, she promised that she would be there for her, and she did it. Mina is the most important person for Guren. She didn't care if the entire clan was destroyed as long as she and Mina can escape. But as time passed and the screams become stronger, she began to worry about her. She was not only her big sister figure but also her sensei. She has taught her to use her crystal release better than the old men in her clan. She even teaches her many techniques. She just turns around a building on the complex when she saw a couple of enemies that she kills with her crystal release. Guren keeps advancing until she finally found Mina. Mina and yells Guren as she sees her sister figure in the ground with coming from under her. Mina, please open your eyes, request Guren as she turned her over her back to see her face. Guren asked Mina as she opens her eyes. They feel heavy and she was cold. You need to escape. I will take you with me, stated Guren. I am not going to make it and you know it, replied Mina as she coughs. Guren turned her eyes to see the injuries on her. It was made by a blade. What happened? How can someone hurt you like this? The blade grew, replied Mina as her strength began to leave her body. He led the attack on the clan. I tried to stop him but he was a monster, and his blade grew. Then looking at Guren she said her last words. Run as fast as you can, you had to live. And with that Guren saw how Mina leave this world. No, Mina. Guren tries to wake her up, but it was useless. However, her cries have drawn the attention of some of the enemies. Looks, it seems that we missed that little girl, said one of the men. We need to finish the job them, said other one. But at that moment when they began to attack her, "I am going to kill you all," states Gurren as crystal spears come from her arms and kill the two enemies. "I am going to find the man with the growing blade and I'm going to kill him," said Gurren as she began to run, leaving the clan complex. It was at that moment that she noticed a traveler right before her wearing a white yukata. She got ready to kill him, but that is when she saw that he was surrounded by the dead bodies of many ninjas that were using the same clothes as the ones that killed her big sister. "Do you have any trouble with me?" asked the traveler. It was then when Gurren saw his face. It was as white as the snow, black mark around his eyes, and his eyes looks like the ones of a snake. "Do you had anything to do with that?" asked Gurren, pointing towards her former clan complex. Even at this distance she can still see the fire from where they were. "I have no interest in that place. I was getting away from here because I do not like the smell of charred corpses, particularly if I do not mind about this place. But those people do not understand that and try to kill me, so I returned the courtesy." "I see, he must be a traveler." That is what Gurren guessed at that moment. "By the way, who are you?" "My name is..." At that moment, Gurren began to wake up only to see that she was in an unfamiliar place. "I see you've woken up, I'll tell the others," said a red-haired girl. "What happened?" asked the little kid that was with the red-haired girl. "My mom found you lying in the snow. You are lucky because you could die from the cold, you know," said the little boy. "I see." At that moment two adult women got inside the room. One of them was carrying some soup. "Are you okay? How are you feeling?" asked the brown-haired woman. "I am fine, but how I ended here?" asked Gurren. "I found you on my way home and carry you here. Thankfully I meet Kushina and Karin that also helped me with you. I am Yukina by the way, and you already meet my son Yukimaru," said Yukina. "Thanks," answered Gurren. "You still have to tell us your name and why you were in the snow," asked the red-haired woman that now she knows her name is Kushina. "My name is Gurren. I went to find my master. He told me to wait in our camp, but as he didn't return, I become worried and chose to go out and try to find him. That is when I got caught in a snowstorm," told them Gurren. "Is your master strong or has any special power?" asked Kushina. "Why do you want to know?" replied Gurren. "Because we came here to confirm if a highly dangerous criminal is in this area. He is a monster that tries to take special people under his side, but if they refuse, he will kill them." "Is that true?" asked Gurren and Yukina at the same time. "Yes, he is a S-class criminal wanted all over the continent," replied Kushina. "What is the name of that monster?" asked Yukina. "Orochimaru," was Kushina's reply. That caused a reaction on Gurren that she tries to hide, but Kushina still managed to see it. "This must be very hard for you, so why don't you rest for the night, and we'll talk in the morning. Here Yukina-san makes you a little soup." After Kushina said that, she leaves the room and followed by the others. When they were gone, one single thought come to her mind. "I must warn Orochimaru-sama that someone is looking for him." Grrrrrrrr, that was the sound of her stomach. "After I eat that soup." However, she was so tired that after she got her stomach full, she fell asleep. When she wakes up in the morning, she realizes that the woman named Yukina was next to her and spent the entire day taking care of her, making sure that she will recover. She was a nice lady and she was thankful with her, but that woman Kushina, she looks at her like she knew something. She needs to leave this night. Gurren waited a couple of hours until she knew that all the other members in the house had gone to sleep, then opening a window she leaves in the middle of the night. After a while, she arrives at a cave. "Orochimaru-sama, you had finally returned. I was beginning to believe that you had betrayed me and leave on your own," said the snake salmon. "That will never happen. I just got worried and went looking for you, but I got into trouble, but that is not important. Someone is looking for you." That is how Gurren began to tell him all that has happened to her. "So Kushina is here, that is interesting. Do you know her?" "Yes, I do, and she is a strong enemy and to face her I would need your help." "I would do anything for you, Lord Orochimaru." "Good, because I need you to go back and kill that woman that took care of you as soon as Kushina leaves that house." That surprised Gurren. "But she is a civilian, she is not a danger. Yet she saw you, and when Kushina see that you had left she will know that there is a connection between us and many more shinobis will come after us. That is why we cannot leave witness." Gurren could see the logic of her master words, but the idea of killing a person that has helped her and cannot fight back is something that she did not like. "Maybe I was wrong about you, and you do not have what is needed to be by my side." The words of Orochimaru get a reaction. "No, Orochimaru-sama, I will carry on your orders," said Gurren, afraid that her master will abandon her if she does not follow all his orders. "Good, because I want you to kill that woman and her kid while I take care of Kushina after she has left the house and is far enough." "As you command." The next day Gurren has been spying on the home where she stayed, waiting for an opportunity to carry on her orders. That is when she sees how Kushina and Karin said their goodbyes to Yukina and Yukimaru and then leave the place. That is great. Now she only had to wait for a little so they move away enough and she will have no obstacles to complete her mission. She was about to move to get closer to the house when she saw Yukina come out and began to walk towards a small road that was next to her home. This was it, her opportunity to kill her, but she was having second thoughts, yet she must follow her master's orders. So, she jumped in front of her. "Hello Gurren-chan, I was worried about you after you leave last night," said Yukina. But Gurren didn't say anything, she just looked at her. "Is there something wrong?" asked Yukina. "I am sorry, but you need to die for Orochimaru's sake," and with that, she uses her crystal release to make some crystal spears that come from the ground and pierce her. An explosion of smoke revealed that it only pierced her wooden log. "So, you really were part of Orochimaru's group?" Gurren heard a voice behind her. When she turns around, she sees Yukina standing there, but a moment later the henge was released, showing Kushina. "Will you leave early this day? Those were cage bunshin." Well, it does not matter. When Orochimaru-sama see that those are cage bunshin, he will come here and take care of you. "Oh, he is already here. In fact, he has been here all the time. Isn't that right, you damn bastard?" said Kushina while looking in one direction. "Probably waiting for a chance to sacrifice you." "That is a lie. He will never do that." Kushina then looked at her and spoke. "Tell me, do you have a line limit or a special talent?" "How can you ask that in this situation?" "Because that is the kind of monster that he is. He finds a way to manipulate the people that he wants and then dispose of them when they no longer have a utility for him." "That's a lie. He saved me when my clan was attacked and gave me a purpose. You wouldn't understand what it's like to see your entire clan get destroyed because they had a power they were born with." That touched a nerve in Kushina. She raised her hand, and before Gurren could react, a chain of chakra came out of her hand, capturing her. "ARRG, what is this?" Gurren yells. "This is my clan line. Not even a tailed beast can break them. Because of this power, many hidden villages tried to control us, and when they couldn't, they joined forces to destroy us. Now only a few of us are still alive." Kushina, surprising Gurren, "But that's something you already know, you snake bastard." In that moment, with her other hand, she launches another chain towards some tress, destroy them, but from that place she saw the figure of the snake Sannin jumped and landed where they could see it. "Is this the way to treat an old friend, Kushina? We were never friends, and by the kami, I still do not understand why the old man didn't kill you when he has the chance. Those words hurt, you know. In a few moments, I will make you feel something that really hurts when I kill you." Brave words, but I am curious, how did you know that I'd be here? "Because I am a Jinchuriki. The moment I met Yukimaru I feel that he was special and that a monster like you'd want him." "Impressive. Your compliments make me nauseous. As you guessed, I'm here for that little boy and I will take him." "That won't happen. I put a barrier that not even you would be able to break anytime soon, and I already send messages about your location to all your enemies. They are heading here as we speak." Orochimaru's face shows that he did not like that news. "I guess that I will have to settle with your death." "You are forgetting that I have your little student here as a prisoner," said Kushina as she tightens up the chains around Gurren. "ARRG, Orochimaru-sama. We both know you will never do that. And we both know that I've been through a lot, and I am no longer the same person that you knew anymore. If that is the case, feel free to kill her. After all, she was nothing more than a replaceable pawn." Orochimaru-sama asked to confuse and scare Gurren. "You were the one behind the attack on her clan, don't you? That wasn't a question." "Oh, I have to admit that I underestimated you, but how did you find out?" "Because what she was going to do is the same thing that happens to her, and after she'll kill Yukinasan, she would go after Yukimaru. You'd show up out of nowhere, kills Gurren and earn Yukimaru's loyalty, and because I'm knowing your sick mind, you'll find it funny that she did the same thing as the men you send to kill her clan." "No, that can't be true," said Gurren. The laugh of Orochimaru was the only answer that she got. "They said that the stupidity is contagious, but, in your case, you got your husband intelligence. No bad, Kushina, not bad at all." "You had not right to talk about him," said a mad Kushina. "I only need to say one more thing," and with that he opened his mouth only to have his sword grew from it and pierce Kushina, only to find that she was a cage bunshin. "Don't tell me that you really expected that trick to work on me," asked the real Kushina as she appears behind him. "Can't blame me for try." While this was happening, Gurren was in a state of shock. "His blade grew," said Gurren, remembering the last words of her sister. "His blade grew." Then she looked at Orochimaru. "You attacked my clan and killed my sister. Why?" "To get my new tools." "Tools?" said a mad Gurren. "Yes, after all, that is what the shinobi are, just tools," said Orochimaru. "And you kill my sister for that?" "Don't waste your time trying to understand his reason. He is just a coward that is afraid of death and is willing to commit the worst of the crimes in order to find a way to escape from it." That seems to bother Orochimaru. "I am not bound with your simple morals. I will achieve my destiny." "So, to find immortality you kill innocent people? That's sick," replied Kushina. "I just say that they are tools and tools are mean to be used." After Orochimaru said those words, a couple of crystal shuriken were launched towards his head, but he just dodges them. "You kill my sister, I will kill you," Gurren yells. "It seems that she already knows the kind of dirty snake that you are." "Then I will have to kill her as well. After all, I was getting bored of her." "Do you think that I will allow you to do that?" said Kushina as she began to walk towards Orochimaru. "What makes you believe that you will be able to stop me?" asked a sarcastic Orochimaru. This announces Kushina as a mantle of golden chakra began to surround her body. "So, you have finally mastered that power. But I hope that you do not believe with just this you'll have the victory on your pocket. Maybe not, but I know that you will not come out from this fight unharmed, and with your enemies coming to this place you may not survive, particularly if Jiraiya is the one that comes to this place. After all, we all know that he was always better than you." "What did you say?" asked an enraged Orochimaru. "Come here so I can repeat it to you slowly in your ear," answered Kushina. All this was bluffing. After all, Kushina has just learned to control the Kyuubi power and she can only keep that form for 5 minutes, but she knew that if she can convince the coward that his life is in danger he will leave. "Maybe on another time, if I can get my prize, there is no reason for me to stay here," said Orochimaru. "Do you think that I will allow you to escape, you monster?" Gurren yells. But then she feels Kushina's hand on her shoulder. When she looks at her, she only said, It is not the time for your revenge, but in the future, you will have your opportunity. Guren did not know why, but she ended following Kushina's instructions, but she keeps looking at how Orochimaru retread. One day I will kill you. Then she began to cry, remembering her sister, how she was a fool to follow the man that killed her, and how she was about to do the same thing that happens to her to that little boy, Yukimaru. She followed Kushina back to their home, and when she saw how Yukina and her son were there, happy and waiting for them, she feels guilty about what she was willing to do. Kushina just told her, "You need to decide what kind of person you want to be from your own free will, not to please someone else," said Kushina. That night, Kushina told them about her encounter with Orochimaru, keeping the actions of Guren to herself. When Yukina learns that that monster was after her son, she was so worried that she asked Kushina what they could do. The next day all of them leave that place, heading to where some of Kushina's old friends live. She knew that they were good and will help Yukina, and Yukimaru began a new life. About Guren, she asked Kushina if she could come with her and Karin and be her student as well, and of course, Kushina agrees. And that leads us to the present time. I looked at the schedule for the next ship leaving this island towards the elemental continent. If we hurry up, we will be able to buy tickets and leave this place by noon, said Takiwa. Thanks a lot, replay Kushina as she saw how Shizuka eat in silence. Shizuka is the quieter of the three girls, but she could understand why, even after she hears her story. It all began when she and Karin and Guren were traveling, trying to find a place where they could train alone and away from trouble until they were ready. They had arrived at a group of islands and were hoping to find an insulate place. So far, the trip seems to be normal and there was nothing out of the ordinary until they got into a restaurant. They stopped to eat something before continuing their journey. They were eating their meals when a couple of little kids that were playing stumbled on Kushina's luggage, making that some of the things that were in fell to the ground. "I am sorry," said the kid that stumbled. "Don't worry, just be more careful the next time," Kushina told him as she began to pick up some of her belongings. At that moment she picks up her forehead protector. She was about to continue with her meal when some call her. "Excuse me, but by any chance are you a shinobi of Konoha?" said a tall woman with a katana on her back. She was sitting on the table next to her in the company of a dark-haired girl. Kushina could not sense any hostility from her, so she answers her. "You can say that I was in a former life, but who are you and why do you want to know?" "My name is Takiwa, and she is Shizuka-sama, and we are looking for one shinobi from your village, and I am wondering if you can tell us where he is." "Before I answer, I would like to know why you are looking for him and who is he?" "Understandable. The reason why we are looking for him is that he makes a marriage contract between the daughter of our clan leader and one of his students." Really, even in these times, these kinds of deals are still happening. "I wonder who was the one that has that crazy idea," said Kushina. "His name is Jiraiya from the 3 legendary Sannin." When Kushina heard the name of the old pervert, she almost fell from the table. "Of course, I should know that he would be the only one that could come with something like that." "So do you know him?" asked Takiwa. "Yes, he was the master of my late husband," answered Kushina. "I see. What can you tell me from his other students?" "Sadly, they are all dead." "I see," said Takiwa in a worried tone. "Do you know where Jiraiya-sama is?" With his status as a Sannin, he can go anywhere he wanted. When Kushina said that, she could see how the face of Takiwa turns into one of worry. But also, Shizuka's, who standing up from her seat walked right in front of Kushina and asked her something. "Is Jiraiya really that strong?" "Yes, he is," was Kushina's answer. "Can he help me to become strong?" she asked Kushina. "He taught the yellow flash of Konoha," replied Kushina without mentioning that he was the student that she was married. "I need to become strong, even stronger than my grandmother, and she told me that Jiraiya was the only one that she has met that was stronger than her," said Shizuka with fire in her eyes. There was something wrong here and Kushina could feel it. "Why do you need to become stronger and why your grandmother didn't train you?" When Kushina saw the look in their eyes, she already got an idea about what happened, but she still needs confirmation. "Why don't we finish this conversation in a more private place?" After Kushina said that, they leave to an isolated part in the forest that was close to the town. "Can you tell me what all this is about?" demanded Kushina. "We used to live within Nechiko village. Normally only women are born there. That is why we had to find a husband from outside," said Takiwa. "That is how Shizuka-sama grandmother and Jiraiya-sama meet each other. I do not see Jiraiya getting married in any scenario," added Kushina. "That is why they make the deal that one of their descendant or students getting married. But sadly, a couple of months ago our village was destroyed," said Takiwa. "What happened?" asked Karin. "We were attacked by a single man, and he destroys our village in order to take a treasure that has been in our hands since the times of the Sage of the Six Paths," declares Takiwa. "I will kill him, that man with the spiral mask and one eye," announced a mad Shizuka. The last part attracted Kushina's attention. "What did you say?" "That I going to kill that man with the spiral mask and one eye. I was hoping to find Jiraiya-sama because grandma told me that he was stronger than her and asked him to teach me," said Shizuka. "The man that killed my husband also looked that way. I am going to use the henge jutsu to show you the man of my memories. Tell me if he is the same that attacked your village," said Kushina as she used the henge, and after the smoke cleared up, the figure of the masked man that destroyed her life was standing there. When Kushina saw the reaction of Takiwa and Shizuka, she knew the answer to her question. "It is him, isn't it?" said Kushina. "That is the monster that attacks us for no reason," answered Takiwa. "It looks that we have a common enemy," told Kushina. "What is going to happen next?" asked Shizuka. "What is going to happen is that we are going to get ready so the next time that we see that bastard we can kill him," told Kushina. With that said, Kushina, with the help of Takiwa, began to train Karin, Guren, and Shizuka to be the best kunoichi possible, so the next time that the danger finds them they will be ready. That was about 3 years ago, and she has to admit that she is proud of their progress, but also about the same time. The images of the night and the few memories that she has of her son are becoming numerous, frequent, and stronger, and as the guilt becomes unbearable, she makes the decision to finally face her past, and even if she still can explain why she leaves, if her son chose to hate her and even attack her, she will be fine with that. It is time to finally have a mother and son talk. She confessed to her team what had happened to her and how she has a son of their age. To said that they were surprised was an understanding, but after the surprise has gone, they promise her that they will be there to reconnect with her son. And that is what led us to this moment as they get ready to go back to the elemental countries. To avoid being detected, they have been training into a group of islands far away in the ocean. They are so far that it will take them a couple of months to get to their destination. But they were ready, for this is the new chapter of their lives. Let's go, said Kushina as she led her group to the ship. But they were not the only ones that are heading to the village hoping to meet Naruto. I am going to kill that old monkey. Please, Tsunade-sama, calm down, asked an ANBU, but he shut up when Tsunade looked him in the eyes. He and his 2 teammates were ordered by the Hokage to track down Tsunade and give her a letter. He believes that it will be an easy mission that a team of Chunin could do, but because it was a letter addressed to a Sannin, he believed that it must be of great importance. Now that he is seeing a furious Tsunade, he wished that he should ask for a complete platoon of ANBU as a backup. So far, the harder part was to find her, but now that they did, they wish that they had failed the mission. Is the content of this letter true, asked Tsunade. I received the letter from the Hokage himself, was the only answer the ANBU provide, hoping that answer will make her lose interest in him. Tsunade-sama, what happened? What said that letter, asked Shizune. Tsunade only gives her the letter so she can read it. When Shizune was done, she could understand the reaction of her master. Okami, said Shizune. We are heading back to Konoha, declares a mad Tsunade. In case that you are wondering about what could possibly say that letter that causes that reaction on Tsunade. Well, it was a simple letter that said, Tsunade, recent events have forced me to reveal information that your clan keeps under secret. Tsunade, you had a half-brother that you never knew about, and that while he died in the Kyuubi attack, he had a son that became an orphan the same night. In recent days he has shown that he has the Mokyun powers of Hashirama Senju. Keeping that event secret for much longer will be impossible, as Orochimaru already made an attempt to kidnap him. Thankfully he fails, and because you are the only relative of the boy that I can hope to find, I have the duty to inform you about this, so you can make the choice if you want to be part of his life or not. I will beat that old monkey until his face looks like a pudding. Yamanaka clan home. With Ino. That was great, Ino, you had improved a lot, said Inoichi. Thank you, father, said Ino as she removes the sweat from her face. Ever since the last event and with her new assignment, Inoichi has taken personal care in giving Ino all the training and advice that he could. He is proud of her progress, but at the same time he was also worried. He never expects that his little girl would have joined the ANBU right after she graduated from the academy. But he understands that given the current circumstances he cannot be avoided. There is also the fact that just a couple of years ago he was worried about her future since she was too focused on that boy from the Uchiha clan, that she ignores her training. But now she has friends that not only train seriously but also behave like normal kids, and that is something that has a big impact on Ino. By the way, Dad, who is going to take my place with Shikamaru and Shaoji, asked Ino because she knew that it was expected that she will part of the new Ino Shikacho group. That will be the daughter of my cousin. Her name is Shiho Yamanaka. She is a smart girl that loves to resolve puzzles. Do you think that she can resolve the mystery about how to motivate Shimaru and Chaoji, joked Ino. If she ever did, all the women of the Nara clan will thank her for the rest of her life, said Inoichi. Tomorrow will be your first day, so we will stop here. Go take a bath and have some breakfast. After that you can take the rest of the day off. Thank you, Dad. Ino. After taking a bath, Ino went to her room to get ready for the day. She was covered in a towel while she places the clothes that she is going to wear today in the bed. Then she walks towards the full-body mirror that she has in her room, and when she stood before it, she dropped the towel as she began to see her body in the mirror. Lately, Ino had been doing this every morning as she moves her hands over the lines of her new muscles. In the past, the idea of having muscles that will damage the image of her perfect body is something that would make her mad, but now she is proud of her figure. But the lines of her new muscles are the proof that she has changed, that she is no longer that stupid kid that was after that idiot of Sasuke, that she has taken control of her life and future, but also, she was proud of her beauty, because even in her opinion now she looks more secure and decided. Taking one last look at the mirror, she turns around and began to dress. When she was ready, she went to the kitchen to have breakfast with her family. By the way, Ino, do you have plans to see your friend Naruto today? Asked Ino's mom. Yes, why do you ask? It is just that I had his share of the money of the sale of his furniture, so if you are going to see him you can give it to him. This little arrangement where Naruto can sell the furniture that he creates with his wood release was thanks to Ino. It all happens when Ino hears her parents talking about using the store next to them to expand their business, and they were trying to come out with an idea. That is when Ino told them how Naruto uses his powers to create furniture to sell and get some money. Inoichi saw this as a business opportunity and took advantage that their store is on the main street of the Kano, which will make it easier to sell his furniture. After that they make a deal, the Yamanaka will run the store and sell his furniture for a share of the profit. Sure, Mum. After they finished their breakfast, each one of them began their daily routines. While she was walking to the home of Naruto, she began to realize how much time she had been spending in the home of her friend, and not only she but Hinata, Hanabi, and Ikumo as well, and she loved it. She then took a key from her pocket. Naruto has given her a copy of the key of his home to she and the other's girl, and that make her feel happy. When she was on the border of the forest at the way to Naruto's home, she stopped, look around to see that no one is seeing her, and then smile. A little practice won't hurt, said Ino as she closes her eyes as she began to feel the energy of the nature that is around her, how it penetrates her body and make contact with her chakra, and has the sensation that she was hit by a fresh wave of energy. Violet's marking appears around Ino's eyes, and when she opened them the pupils of his eyes have a vertical line, similar to the iris of a fox's eyes. Ever since Naruto gave her that mark, she can access this new power easier than before. Not only that, but controlling it becomes simpler. And not only she, but Hinata, Hanabi, and Ikumo as well. More than that, each one sees how her family jutsus and techniques become more powerful. Making sure one more time that no one is around, she smiles as she gets ready to run, and 1 moment later, she wasn't there as she runs at a speed that only an elite Jonin could run, and she loved this feeling. It wasn't long before she arrives at Naruto's home and the others were already there. Unlike other days, they weren't training, mainly because tomorrow they will begin their official careers as shinobis and decide to just relax for the day. Hello, Ino, said Hanabi, that was the first one to see her. Good morning, everyone, said Ino as she released her sage mode. Did you come here using the sage mode, said Yakumo. It wasn't a real question but an affirmation. Do not worry, no one saw me. After all, my sensor abilities grew so much when used this mode, Ino. It is good to see that all of you had gotten used to your new powers. Normally it would take years of training and practice to be able to use it without danger, but thanks to the mark that you receive, you now can use it safely, said Naruto as he come out of the house with many things in his arms. Now, who is ready for a barbecue? For Naruto this was something special. To be able to share with his friends like this is something some time ago he would consider an impossible dream, but now it is possible, and he will enjoy every moment that he shares with them. Let me help you, said a happy Hinata. Thanks, Hinata-chan, said Naruto as he gives her some of the ingredients that he was carrying. The fire is ready, said Yakumo from the grill. And I had the music, said Hanabi as she turns on a little radio. This moment was perfect for all of them and decide to repeat it as often as they could, that and because they enjoy barbecues. And while they were having a good day, in another part of the Fire Nation, I will kill that old monkey, Tsunade. Please, Tsunade-sama, I know that you are mad, but you can go inside the village and hit the Hokage Shizune. Just watch me. Tsunade and Shizune had been traveling ever since they received that letter, and they expected to arrive at Konoha this afternoon. They had been traveling for days now, and in all that time Shizune had been trying to calm her master, but nothing seemed to work. It has seen that the only thing that she could do is use her medic skill to trade the Hokage after her master has released her anger, if there is something to cure after that. But they weren't the only ones heading to Konoha, as a small group was heading to the Fire Country in a boat in the middle of the ocean. In the frontal deck, we can see how Kushina is looking at the horizon. It will be still a couple of weeks before they could see the lands of the Fire Country, but being in a boat there is little that you could do. Over the past days, they had begun to train next to the boat using the water walking technique. Either they run next to the ship or they push the boat when there is no wind, but today they are resting. All but Kushina that expend all the time when she wasn't teaching the girls in this place, looking at the horizon in the direction of her former home. Then here will not make the boat go faster, you know, Takiwa. I just cannot sleep, Kushina. Had you planned what you are going to do when you meet him, Takiwa? I had expended all my time thinking about that in the last years, and even now I do not have an answer, Kushina. Then what do you plan to do, Takiwa? I need answers. How I can face him if I do not know what happened in the first place, Kushina. Nice idea, but where are you going to find them? It had been around 12 years since that day, said Takiwa. It had been years since Kushina told her about her past and her son. There is a way. My clan used to have a temple in Konoha that had very dangerous objects stored there. One of them has the power to give me my answers, Kushina. Why do I have the feeling that it will be dangerous? Takiwa, because you are a smart person, but do not worry, I do not have any death wish, not until I have made up for what I did to my son Kushina. It won't be easy, it would take time, decades even, Takiwa. I know, but what else I can do, Kushina? I wish you good luck, and I had a little advice. Do not try to give him orders like a mother would, even if you do not agree with his decisions, that will only make him furious. Takiwa, that almost sounds like it comes from experience. Kushina, because it is. As you know, there is no male born in our clan, all are females, that force us to look for spouses outside the village. And while keeping a friendly relationship with the neighbors' farmers and we make business with them, they weren't strong enough to be our husband. In one occasion I went to see a farmer so I could buy part of his harvest. I had known him by years and his family, but that day when I saw him, he and his son looked very sad. By a moment I thought that something bad has happened to his wife. Later I found out that she just abandoned both of them to marry a man with more money, Takiwa. Kushina listens at that story with great attention. What happened to the son? Thankfully the farmer has a sister. She and her family step up and help them. So while the farmer was working on the fields, his sister and her children take care of the farmer's son. As the time passed on, the son grew and was able to help his father, until one day the mother that has abandoned returned. It is seen that the man that she chose over her family while having money was a monster in the inside. It is seen that even with all her new wealth she wasn't happy. She even tries to leave him many times to escape from the abuse of her new husband, but that man will not allow her to leave him. However, after many years that man died, and the wife was now the rich widow of that man, and the first that she tried to do was to come back to her old family and beg for forgiveness and ask for a second opportunity. Kushina that has listened to this story could see that even if their circumstances were different, she could see similarities in her current condition and the ones of that wife. Did her family receive her? By that time the farmer married a new woman and created a new family with her. The former wife was not welcome in their home, Takiwa. And the son asked Kushina. The son just ignores her. The wife then tries to buy his forgiveness with presents and money, but that just angers the son. There was one occasion where the son tries to do some dangerous journey to open a new trade route. The former wife tries to stop him and order him to not go. That didn't end well, as he told her that she has no right to give him orders. Thankfully the journey ended well and he opened a new trade route. It took years for him, but he becomes civil when he was with his mother. He never calls her mom again, and their relationship was never the same as it was before she leaves them. She ended up living in a small house on the border of their town, trying to be part of her son's life, even if it was just small parts. Then Takiwa looked at Kushina and told her, "Your circumstances may be different, but I want to give you this advice. 1. Do not try to buy his forgiveness with presents. That will not end well and he may get very angry with you. 2. Do not try to give him orders. Even if you do not like what he is doing, he will not recognize your authority and even try to do more things like that just to hurt you. 3. You must be ready to accept that you may never have the relationship that you want with your son and that it may take you years to even have a civil relationship. You have been a great friend in all these years and I do not want to see you suffer. That is why I am telling you this, so you can prepare for the time when you meet him. Thanks, Takiwa, you had helped me a lot, and do not worry, I will first find my answers and then I will face my son. Just promise me that if he tries to punch me, do not stop him. He has all the right to do it and vent his anger on me. It will be hard, but I understand your point." Then the two friends keep looking at the horizon in silence. Back in Konoha, in Naruto's home, the group of friends has spent all the day together just enjoying each other's company, but as time advanced the time for them to depart to their own homes arrived and they began to say their goodbyes. "Well, we better get home and had a nice night of rest," said Ino. "I never expected to become an ANBU so soon. I wonder what will happen tomorrow, Yakumo." "I don't know, but I am sure that we can overcome anything that we face if we work together, Hinata." "That's right, Hanabi. Be careful on your way home. Are you sure that you do not want me to send some clones to escort you, Naruto?" All the girls denied with their heads, but they had a smile on their faces. "Thanks for the offer, but we aren't damsels in distress, Ino. And if anything happens, we can always use our new powers or call for your help, Hinata." With that said, the girls began their way home. However, when they are about to depart, they go to their respective homes. "One-sama, could you please wait for a moment?" said Hanabi as she creates a shadow clone. "What happened?" Hanabi asked Hinata, wondering why her sister created a shadow clone. "Nothing, it is that Ikumo told me about some new pictures that she has been working on and want my opinion, so I will send a shadow clone with her so it can see them and give her an opinion," said Hanabi with a smile. Hinata on her part knew that that is not all true, because that smile of her is the one that she uses when she is plotting something. But she just let it pass as a small game that she has with Yakumo while she and the original Hanabi began to walk towards their home. The Hanabi clone turned to see Yakumo once she saw that both Hinata and Ino were no longer close to them. "Do you get it?" asked Hanabi clone. "Here is it," said Yakumo as she took a small store scroll from her clothes and released what is inside. It was a book, but not any book. It was one that has some drawings and paintings divided into panels that were telling a story. Hanabi and Ikumo have begun to work on this story for a couple of months by now. All began when on their way to Naruto's home by accident Hanabi dropped one of her books, which happened to be the Two Moon Princesses and the Ronin. Ikumo knew about those books and was surprised that Hanabi had one of them. It was at that moment that Hanabi told her that this book has given her new hope about the future. Ikumo didn't understand what she was talking about, so Hanabi explained to her that she has feelings for Naruto, but she was afraid to move on them because her sister loved him before and she do not want to hurt him, Hinata, or betray her. Ikumo could understand that feeling because over the last year she has come to also develop feelings for Naruto. But she, just like Hanabi, didn't dare to move on those feelings because she about Hinata's love and because she was the first to see him as the wonderful person that he is. She believes that Hinata deserves to be happy with him. But that does not explain why Hanabi has that book. That is when Hanabi dropped the bomb and told her. The plotline is about how two sisters feel in love with the same man, but instead of forcing him to choose one and hurt the other, they agree to share him, said Hanabi. That surprised Yakumo for a moment before she can react. Hanabi, I understand your love for Naruto, but that book is a fictional story, not a real one. You cannot expect something like that happens in real life, said Yakumo, who was expecting Hanabi to deny what she just said. But to her surprise, she just smiles and took another book. This one is an old book that has the symbol of Kano on the cover. This is a book that has Konoha clan laws written on them, and there is a special law on it about clans where the only male surviving that also has a line limited can have more than one wife, said Hanabi with a big smile. Yakumo took the law book and began to read and saw that what Hanabi said was true. That is why I am making my research, to protect the happiness of my sister Hinata, my happiness, and more important to protect Naruto's future, said Hanabi with a serious face. Protect him, asked a confused Yakumo. It is only a matter of time before girls that do not know Naruto the way that we do come after him because of his clan, thanks to that traitor. And when that happens, to tell me how you would feel to see some useless fangirls after Naruto, said Hanabi with a serious face. Yakumo didn't like the feeling that she was having inside her. That is why I am making my research, to find a way to get closer to him without hurting Hinata, and at the same time to open her to the idea that we need to be all together to protect Naruto, said Hanabi. Yakumo remained silent for a few moments as she returned the law book to Hanabi and took the Ika Tactics book. Do you mind if I borrow this one, asked Yakumo with a blush on her face. A couple of days later, Yakumo returned the book to Hanabi, and that day they ally to work together to ensure that they will be the ones that join Naruto and Hinata. It's funny how all their plans ended in an illustration book, where Hanabi writes the ideas and Yakumo paints them. They didn't know, but their work will later end in the creation of the first HXX manga on the Elemental Nation, and the plotline of their first story is about how a group of female ninjas join their powers and skill to protect a powerful but clueless ninja heir while they deepen their love. Back to the present moment. That is great, you had improved, said Hanabi. Yes, but I am a little concerned about something. When will be the right time to tell Hinata and Ino about this, asked Yakumo. To be honest, I am not sure. We are about to start our ANBU training, so we will need to wait a little more, but at the same time we cannot wait too long because new rivals may arrive, said Hanabi. You are right about that, Yakumo. For the next weeks we must focus on our training. After that we will make a decision, said Hanabi. Yes, editor, I mean Hanabi. With that, Hanabi, the shadow clone, takes one last look at the illustrations and then disappears. In the Hawkage Tower, Sarutobi was very tired and was hoping to end this paperwork so he can go home and rest, but as always life didn't care about what he wanted. It had been a long time, Sensei, said a voice from outside the window. Jiraiya, what I had told you about using the door, Sarutobi. Did you send me an emergency call just to talk about doors, asked Jiraiya. No, a lot has happened and I will need your help here for a couple of weeks, Sarutobi. I never liked Danzo. I never understood why you didn't kill him when you had the chance, Jiraiya. I see that your spy network is as good as always, Sarutobi. So, you want me to find any root agents that may still be inside the village, Jiraiya? Yes, but there is another reason. It is about Naruto, Sarutobi. What happens with him, Jiraiya? It has to do with a secret about his family that not even his father knew about, Sarutobi. Tell me everything, said Jiraiya with a serious face as this information involved his late student. It was early in the morning, but many of the residents of the village were already up taking care of their business and duties. However, in this area where the elite of the elite has their base of operations, we can see a small group of kids that are heading towards a training area that was exclusive for this group. Normally the guards that protect their HQ would send them back, but this group is special, as they know why they are here and how they had come to see. I wonder what we will do on our first day, asked Yakumo. I do not know. My mom never told us what she did when she was an ANBU captain, said Hinata. Do you believe that the training will be too difficult, asked Hanabi. The ANBU are the elite, so I believe that it will be hard, but we advanced so much thanks to Naruto-kun teaching. It was all thanks to your hard work, said Naruto. It was not long until they arrived at the training area that Mikoto reserved for them. In the middle of them, and in the middle of the training field, a figure was standing, waiting for them. Mikoto-san, from this moment you will call me Sensei, Mikoto. Really, I never expect you to be our sensei, Naruto. As you are aware, your circumstances are very different from other recruits. For that reason, special measures are needed, Mikoto. Naruto and the girls understood what she meant. With the attack and kidnapping attempt from Mizuki, they knew that their future would be full of challenges. What are we going to do now, Hanabi? Normally any new team will be tested to see their level of teamwork and skills, but you managed to defeat a special squad of Orochimaru's forces and a traitor to this village. So I believe that we can skip that part. For now, I would like to know more about your skill if I am going to be your captain. I need to know what you can do, so I can make plans based on them, Mikoto. And how are we going to do that, asked Yakumo. At that moment, Mikoto put her hands together in the cross-hand signal that all of them now know too well. Kage Kunshin no Jutsu. A moment later, another Mikoto was standing right in front of them. You had to take down my clone, was Mikoto's simple answer as she began to walk towards a tree that was on the border of the training area. By the way, the training began now. Just like that, at that moment, the clone of Mikoto jumped and began attacking them. All the while, the real Mikoto was standing under a tress, enjoying the show. Sensei, Mikoto. "It is good to see that your skills are as good as always," said a voice. "It is good to see you again, Jiraiya-sensei," said Mikoto as she kept her eyes looking at Naruto and the girl's battle with her clone. "The last time that we saw each other was, Jiraiya, in Minato's funeral," finished Mikoto for him. There was a moment of silence between them. "He sure looks like his father, Jiraiya. It is more than just his looks, he may even already surpass Minato when he first graduated from the academy." Mikoto. Jiraiya just keeps looking at Naruto, how he gives instructions to the girls as he coordinates their efforts, while he covers their backs. "He is taking the role of leader," observed Jiraiya. "And the girls trust him and follow him," added Mikoto. "Are you going to train him?" asked Mikoto. "I am still considering that idea, Jiraiya. With your old teammate after him, he will need all the help that he can get." Mikoto. Jiraiya didn't say anything after he heard about Orochimaru. "What are you planning to do now that you are back in the village?" Mikoto. "I will be looking for any other spy that Danzo or Orochimaru could still have inside the village. You know what they said? The best way to capture a spy is with another spy. That will be of great help." Mikoto. "By the way, Sensei, I hear some news that you may not like," said Mikoto, but unlike her serious tone of voice, she has an evil smile on her face. "Really, what could be?" asked Jiraiya. "The Women Hot Spring is under new management and they are remodeling it, so for the next few days it will be closed." "What? But my research? How I can write if I haven't done my research and my editor is bothering me to send him the intro of my next book? How I can finish all that without my inspiration?" said Jiraiya with tears. "Oh, but there is more. When the women of the ninja clans learn that you will be here, they agree to only take baths in their clan's private baths. That is why the owner of the hot spring took this opportunity to remodel his business," said Mikoto with an evil smile. "You enjoy torturing me, don't you? I am an ANBU captain, that comes with the job." At that moment, she feels something and turns to see how the kids managed to take down her clone. They were tired and on the ground as they try to recover their energy. "It is seen that it is my time to leave, Jiraiya. You could just take this opportunity to say hello to him and meet your godson, Mikoto." "It is too soon for that," said Jiraiya as he disappears. Mikoto then began to walk toward Naruto and the girls as if nothing had happened. "Not bad. You did manage to take down my clone. To be honest, I believe that you would need more time to do that. I got the feeling that that clone went easy on us," said Hinata. "My goal was to learn about your skills, not to kill you. Now that I know how you work together in a fight, I still need to learn more about your other skills." For the rest of the days, Mikoto began to test them in all the arts of the ninjas, from taijutsu to genjutsu. It was late afternoon when Mikoto finished testing them. "Okay, that will be all for today. Go home and get some rest. From tomorrow on you are going to need it." Just after saying that, she used her speed to disappear before their eyes. At that moment all of them fell to the ground. "I never imagined that Mikado-sama could be so severe," said Hinata. "I agree," said Hanabi as she is sitting next to her sister. "Well, no one said that this will be easy, but look at the good side. This day marks our first day as a team," said Naruto. After hearing this, Ino, Yakumo, Hinata and Hanabi smile. "What if we go to the Ikikaru for some ramen to celebrate?" said Naruto. Back with Mikoto. She changed her clothes in the ANBU HQ and was back in her civilian as she is walking towards her home. She was planning to make a special dinner for her family and was in the middle of shopping for the ingredients when she saw her husband in the street. For some reason the expression on his face told her that something was wrong. Fugaku Mikoto calls him to attract his attention. "Mikoto, are you done with your first day with your new team?" asked Fugaku. "Yes, but I can see that something is bothering you." "What is wrong?" asked Mikoto to her husband. Seeing that there is no point in keeping things from his wife, Fugaku answered her. "It is about Sasuke." "Is there something wrong?" asked a worried Mikoto. "I don't know. Ever since the truth about Danzo's become public and how he was involved in the Kyuubi attack, the relationship with the clan and the village has improved. And now that I had more free time, I try to spend it with Sasuke, to teach him some our clan techniques, but he keeps rejecting every time that I offer to spend some time with him." Mikoto could understand her husband's preoccupations because she had also tried to spend some time with him, but Sasuke always rejected her. "I believe that he is jealous of Itachi," said Fugaku. "I don't know. He used to admire his big brother, so I believe that he will be happy when he learned that he will be the next Hokage, but he was seen to be mad all the time." Mikoto. "Do you think that this is just a phase? Itachi never had one, so I hope that it will be the same with Sasuke." Fugaku. "I do not know. Hopefully, that is the case. I will try to talk with him tonight," said a worried Mikoto. She had the feeling that Sasuke is walking away from their family and his clan, but every time she tried to get close to him, he just ignored her. She hoped that today would be different. Later that night, "See you tomorrow, Naruto-kun," said Hinata and the girls that had just finished their meal and were heading to their homes as they knew that their parents are waiting for them to hear about their first day. From Naruto's point of view, today was a great day and he cannot wait to see what they will be doing tomorrow. He was walking through a small business area that has some small food shop because it was a shortcut to go to his home when his senses feel it. Chakra has been manipulated. Fearing an attack, he got ready. It was at that moment that a man come flying through a door that belonged to a local business and hit the wall on the other side. Obviously, hit by some form of attack. That surprised Naruto because it looks that the trouble, for this time, was not related to him. Normally he would just ignore this situation and leave. He already has his own share of trouble and he did not want to get involved in a fight between strangers, in special when he did not know why they are fighting. However, his curiosity got the best of him and he take a look to see what is happening. As soon as he looked through the hole, he saw a strange man with strange white hair. He was sitting while looking at a man that by his looks was the owner of this place. "Please, I do not know what you are talking about," pleaded the owner. "Do you really believe that I would be wasting my time here instead of been making my research unless I already know all that I need to know about you and your little operation?" said the man with white hair. "I told you that I am innocent," said the owner. At that moment, the man with white hair took something from his clothes and threw it on the ground. It was a picture. That picture shows the owner giving something to a man. That is, the owner. "You giving something to a man that is part of Root. It is over. You better give up and tell us all that you know about your other friends that are still in the village," said the man with white hair. "Damned you," said the owner as he saw that there was no point in keeping lying. He jumped to try to punch that white-haired man, hoping that this will create an opportunity for him to escape. Without standing out, the white-haired man opened the palm of his hand, and before Naruto's eye a chakra began to form in a second lather, he hit the owner with it, sending him to fly, just like the first man. "You can take him now," said the white-haired man, and a moment later a group of ANBU appeared out of nowhere and secured the two men. "Take them to the interrogation team, get everything that you can from them." "Yes, Master Jiraiya," said one of the ANBU. Naruto was surprised by what he has just seen, not only by the actions of that men but that chakra. Not wanting to get in any trouble, he leaves that place. However, that night he will have a dream about how that man with white clothes used a similar jutsu to drill a water hole, and later he will use a bigger chakra with 3 smaller ones to fight against that man with the red eyes. The next morning, when Naruto woke up, the first thing that he said was, "I remember." It had been a week since the events where Naruto had seen this strange man with long white hair like a hedgehog. Something about that strange jutsu had sparked a series of dreams and memories about how Asura had used it both to build that well of water and in battle against his brother. When I asked Kurama about it, why the two brothers, who at first got along, later became enemies, he simply responded, "The cause of the conflict was Indra's jealousy, as he could not accept that others could overcome him. What saddened my parents is that all he wanted was for Indra to try a little harder to understand others. Instead he decided that he would end those who he believed threatened his supremacy. Asura never wanted that conflict, but in the end he had no choice but to fight. But even when he had the opportunity to eliminate Indra, he refused to give him the final blow, and so he started a conflict that would last for centuries and torment his descendants. So remember, be humble. If you see someone who surpasses you, that it only means that you have to work harder and avoid unnecessary fights, but if the time comes for you to fight, don't hesitate to do whatever it takes to end the threat." That conversation confused him because, strange as it seemed, Kurama was the closest thing he had to a family and his relationship with the girls was very good. So, for the time being, he decided to try to replicate the jutsu that Asura used in his dream. But that's where the problem is, because unlike the past techniques where he was able to perform the techniques after remembering them, with this one he was having problems. Kurama had told him that since he remembered it, he already has the knowledge to use it, but he still doesn't have the ability. In the case of past techniques, these were mainly physical or jutsus. But with this technique, a higher level of control over the chakra is required than he has now, and until he reaches the required level of control, he will not be able to use it. After hearing that, Naruto decided to seek help to see how he could increase his level of control over his chakra. But for the time being, he had to meet with his team for his training. Kurama Clan Complex. Ikumo had just gotten out of the shower and was starting to get dressed. The traces of the disease that had previously weighed her down had disappeared, and she now possessed a beautiful wealthy body, which now attracted the attention of her former classmates. But her attention didn't matter to her as she was now happy with her current life. However, the conversation she had had with Hanabi had made her uneasy about how Naruto could have more than one wife if he wanted to. However, she was very sure that Naruto himself was unaware of this fact. Ever since Hanabi informed her about the CRA, she couldn't get out of her head what that meant, to the point that she had started drawing the scenes that were described in the stories that Hanabi was writing. Using Hinata, Ino, Hanabi and herself as the protagonists, and obviously Naruto was the main one in the story. I couldn't believe how she was secretly drawing scenes that would make an adult blush. In fact, if she saw kids looking at those kinds of drawings, she would have called them perverts. But now she was the one who made those perverted drawings, and the more drawings she made, the more desires she had to make Hanabi's story a reality. But she knew that there was still a long way to go, because for that future to become a reality, they needed the support of everyone involved. The thought of talking to Hinata right now scared them, so she and Hanabi had decided to talk to Ino at the end of training today, and then when all the girls in the group agreed to talk to Hinata. That was certainly the part that scared her the most, since her good friend had proven to be terrifying when she got angry, but she didn't want to let this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity pass her by. Looking at her new outfit, a white and red ensemble that emulated that of her former mentor Kurenai, she left her house. On the way to the training ground, we see how the Hyuga sisters calmly walked to the meeting point. However, Hinata could tell that something was strange Hanabi was up to. Either intuition or the fact that she knew her very well, she couldn't get out of her mind that her little sister was planning a prank, but only time will tell that it is what it is. When she arrived at the training camp, she saw that everyone was already present. "Good morning, Mikoto-sensei." Hinata. "Good morning, Mikoto. What kind of training are we going to do today?" Naruto asked. He was eager to start training and asked his sensei if he could give him some advice on how to improve his chakra control. In fact, there has been an opportunity to have our first mission, Mikoto said, attracting the attention of his students. It had already been a couple of weeks since they had become a special team, but in all that time they had only trained, they had never had a mission until now. This mission is special as it comes directly from the daimyo palace of our country. Mikoto, if so, shouldn't I be assigned to a more experienced team? That depends on the mission, and this is not a combat one, but information gathering. A couple of days ago a man showed up in the capital of the country of fire and got an audience with the Minister of Economy and Commerce of our country. His name is Tazuna, and apparently he is building a bridge in his village, but he claims that a gang leader is sabotaging his efforts. Mikoto, and why is that so important as to involve the daimyo? Yakumo asked. Because of its location. Our country has long wanted to create a commercial port in the land of the waves, but political and logistical problems have delayed the project. But now a village that already has a port is building a bridge with the connection to the land of fire. By solving the problems I mentioned to you by themselves, our mission is to escort Tazuna to his village and see if it is true that he is building a bridge that connects to our country, and if he is suffering problems because of that gangster. If so, we must protect him. Naruto and the girls nodded to this information. We will leave tomorrow, so for today there will be no training. Go and prepare your equipment, as well as inform your family that you will be on a mission with an approximate duration of 2 to 3 weeks. With that said, Mikoto withdrew. This is our first mission, said a happy Naruto. I'll do my best to make sure everything goes well, Hinata said with the other girls nodding their heads. The next day we can see how they were already at the main gate of the village. Sensei, see Hanabi, Mikoto. I wanted to ask you why we are not wearing the uniform of the Anbu. And where is the customer? Ino. Good questions. Regarding the first one is why we are going to have direct contact with the person we must protect, so the masks in this case would complicate the mission. The story that we will give to Tazuna is that we are two common teams of genins, but that at the last minute the sensei and one of the students could not come due to special situations, so I took command and decided to continue it with the other members present and take the mission. About where is Tazuna, we must pick him up in the capital of the country of fire. A moment later, Mikoto's special team had left. But as fate would have it, at that very moment another ANBUS team was arriving, having arrived from their special mission. Find and escort Tsunade back to the village. And by Tsunade's look of fury, they were thanking the heavens that their mission was over and they didn't have any broken bones. Come on Shizyun, we need to go see the old man and tell him what I think about him hiding information about my family from me. With that, Tsunade headed towards the Hokage Tower.